Hello, collective. Before we get into today's little reading, I'm going to Santo up the area because I finally got some Palo Santo. You know how it is. Had to. Um, and then I have something to talk about. That I'm excited. Um, to kind of talk about as well. Um, yeah. Anyway, um, if y'all didn't know from the last stream I did, I'll be talking about it like a little bit more on this one. I have um, the great pleasure of uh, helping, being a ambassador of Otter Spirit, and they sell spiritual jewelry, the bracelets based off zodiac stones. However, um, and they're either triple A grade or double A grade stones. I recently got mine in, and I'm in love with them. They're really well made. They're like you can feel the weight of the stones, which is good. They come with like a little info card about like what they are and like a bunch of other info on it. So, but if you're wanting like a place to get like bracelets or something, I'd recommend them for sure. Um, and I've heard about them before, but I haven't really got any of their product until of recent. But yeah, I definitely, if you're looking for like a place to get them, that's a good place too. And they also donate $1 per purchase to help some the sea lions. I don't know why I'm like losing my voice a little bit. My excuse me for that, but they do like they help out the sea lions as well. Um, but yeah, thank you so much to y'all um, for being interested. Um, but yeah, we're gonna jump into some of these downloads as well. I'm gonna burn more Santo. But we're gonna jump into some of these downloads as well. Because I've been having a lot of them, and I need to start speaking of them more as they've been coming in more rapid succession. Oh, I forgot. You can use codes sublunar20 to get I think 20% off of the orders as well. The information's in the description of that for that stuff as well. Um, but I have been getting a lot of. I wouldn't necessarily say futuristic, more of internal, like introspective types of downloads, and I'm talking about like ancestral downloads. Um, like just having a deeper understanding of what a soul family is, and seeing the roots, the heritage of what soul families are, and there's something about your soul family, something from your past life that spirit really wants you to focus on at this time. And it is definitely a time of delving in more spiritually, relying on spirit to help you move forward more at this time. Um, you may be feeling like stressed out or like scared almost. I can't even say words like stressed out or scared. Like some sort of time is running out. And the reason why you feel like this time is running out is because you're adjusting to this higher vibration that you've reached. A lot of people who were moving to the 4D 5D consciousness are settling in, but those who are less than like a 3D conscious, they're stuck there. I mean, not. I mean, until or unless and until they want to like start doing the internal work, they're stuck there. You know what I mean? Um, but these moons that are coming up, even, um, are extremely powerful. Because it's like, what is it? The blue moon, and these are all like super moon. These are all like fully charged super moons, if I'm not mistaken, that are coming up. I gotta like look into those more. Um, but there's a lot of ancestral like downloads, and maybe even your soul is wanting you to like do a deep dive within yourself to experience and see what made their souls feel alive, and seeing what you did in past lives and comparing to what you did as a child. Maybe you did rain dances as a child, and that was that spirit's way of showing you who you were from a past life. So there's really just a need to reflect on who you were as a child and activities that you did that you didn't know were spiritual, you thought were just cultural, but realized the spiritual meanings behind them. It's like stepping fully out of the 3D way of looking back at memories, and looking back at memories in childhoods is like, oh, necessary for healing. Now there's a need to go there for information. There's this whole discovery of self that's happening. And I just got it as well, like imploring you to do your research on things that you feel called to do. Um, some of you might be just wanting to do like research on like spirituality. I'm seeing the Hermit card from the deck off bat, but there is a heavy, like, strong need to delve within yourself, and don't search for this information. Allow it to come to you. There's the necessity to allow this information to draw itself up instead of going out and searching for it. Um, that's very important for this. Um, some people are being called to stand up as well. There has been, I was picking up earlier, I was taking a shower, there's this shift um that's happening where some people are being told to go back out to the fighting grounds of the spiritual war. Some people are being put on rest. Some people are in training again, you know. But I was picking up for the seasoned ones, for the ones that's been going through this a lot. There's a need for you not to go back into the combat fields, but to go and go scourge. There's a need for you to educate yourself again, become the student. I mean, that's for everyone really, but I'm picking that up for the ones that's gone through this for a while. There's a need to get more spiritual information. There's like a period, like 3 to 9 weeks, I'm seeing, of just stagnancy that you've either been in or you're about to go into. And it hasn't been to destroy you or to wear things down. It's been a time for this energy that's been building up, this energy that's been coming at you, this energy that's been leaving you, time to actually do what it needs to do. Um, so these cycles within your life can continue and you can keep going down your path. There was some sort of like energetic blockage, and it wasn't from you or anyone else. It was just there because of all the energy that was like coming forward. It was pushing you forward almost too fast along your path. So the brakes need to be put on. So maybe you've been feeling like it's all part of like the divine plan. Because like if you've been feeling, especially been feeling if like you've been putting too much effort into doing something, or you feel like you're overspending or overeating or overdoing something, the divine wanted you to do that in a sense so you would not only, that was weird. Okay, anyway, not only become aware of um what's going on or what some sort of pattern is, but also to allow yourself to hold on. almost, yeah, just like experience it. It's how it's coming through. Like they needed you to just to really sit down and see like this pattern, almost, and not in a way of like of threatening to put you back into a cycle, almost in a way of seeing if you're observant of it. Like for some of you, you've been needing to move on, but there's a need to make sure that you are observant of these patterns that you have before moving on. There's like just a need of being aware of it that's going to really help you move forward. So if you've been feeling stagnant, make sure that you're being aware of things that you're doing. Um, Always question why you jump so heavily and say, oh, no, that's not true, or no, that can't be this, or that can't be that. Be sure to question yourself why you feel so strongly about that. Um, and as well, letting loose, like breaking your spiritual ego. I was meaning to talk about that too for a minute, about spiritual ego, because people really don't understand it, dude. Like, ego is man made. Um, and you will definitely get an ego on the spiritual path, and there's something about your spiritual ego needing to break. And your spiritual ego doesn't just mean like you feel like you're better than someone because of your spirituality. It also, spiritual ego also comes from um dang, sorry, I literally just lost in complete trail there for a second. It'll come back. But regardless, like, it also comes whenever you're there we go, thank you, whenever you get comfortable, and you're wanting to stick with certain beliefs because they're easier to digest at the time rather than a newer belief. And it's a time to allow yourself to release and to evolve into like a higher state of knowing. And this could be like, I don't know why I'm picking this up, because it's like I'm picking up so much. It's weird. There's like a fear of like not wanting to seem what is it called, like cultural appropriate, which I don't know why you're worried about being politically correct if you're gonna be spiritual. um like, if you're gonna be spiritual, you I mean, though the politics reflect a lot of what happens in the spiritual aspect of life, and definitely is influenced a lot by it too. Doesn't mean that you should necessarily focus on that type of aspect in it. It's a lot grander than that. There's a lot more that goes on. So of course, like, have your comfort zone, but widen your understanding of things. Don't allow like a fear of, oh, knowing about something is not correct or something. You know what I mean? Like, don't lie to yourself because of a fear of learning something new or a fear of losing an old belief. There's like it's like an unspoken fear of, oh, if I start a new belief, I'm gonna lose all my power. Like, no, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna have a new belief. That your belief system should always be changing. You know, as we always evolve and we latch onto new things. The law of detachment is very important, especially in the journey of life, even without like trying to manifest with it or whatever the fuck people want to do with the laws that we have these days. Like, you just gotta use them as the way they were intended, as guiding points for you. Like, there's a need to detach and reattach yourself. Like, detach yourself from the version that makes you comfortable so that you're able to expand your knowledge and understand things deeper. And you don't even, it's like, I don't know, um it's just the energy of really not wanting to do that because you feel like you've done enough. But that's like your ego talking, because deep down you even know that you haven't like done enough. And it's not saying you haven't doing any work. What I mean by like not done enough, it's just like there's so much more that can be done. So don't say that you've done enough. That's like a selfish way of putting it. Be a bit more honest with yourself, if you're in that type of energy. But regardless, like there's just an energy of like maybe not wanting to, just out of just being uncomfortable with it, or I don't know, seeing it as blasphemy. And of course, like being built up and building this own matrix inside of yourself that is also built off of other ideals. It's hard to like release without that fear of, oh fuck, like it's gonna change my whole life. It is, yeah, but it's gonna be for the better of you. You're on your path. You're on the spiritual path. You're on the path to growing. Um, so there's not like a big scare to follow your soul, to follow where your soul's leading you next. And that's kind of like what the divine's been trying to push you to do. But there's this like fear of, again, just like putting something down, making something feel less than, or just being like, oh well, what if I stop doing these practices that I've been wanting to stop for a while? Are my ancestors going to get mad at me? It's like, no, because your ancestors are you, and your ancestors are going to talk through you. So if you don't feel like doing a ritual anymore, it's because your ancestors are also on that same point, you know? Same thing with your beliefs and everything. Like your ancestors, like there's so many more, there's so much more, I mean, um, in this journey of spiritualism, uh, that is overlooked because of a grasp of how, like, oh, I understand how this could be like broke down. Like, no, there's a need to really understand things on a deeper level. And that's what the spiritual journey is about. Is about really getting down to the roots of life, of who you are, who you truly are, not who you want to say you are out of ego, or not who you want to say who you are due to like a knowing of that. You are more than that. Yes, you are like the thing that you say you are, like, but at the end of the day, you're much more than that. There's like a need to release that spiritual ego, um, from that detachment to allow yourself to grow. There's I don't know if it like I don't know. It's just like that. It's the energy of like not wanting to let go because like I don't want to be mean. Like, is there like can you put this on me a little bit sweeter? Can my thought consciousness like back up for a minute so I can listen? But it makes you feel, God, I like there's no other way to say it, is it? Wow. It makes you feel like I'm not trying to be mean, but like it makes you feel special, and it allows you to put yourself on this pedestal that makes you subconsciously look down on people because you almost see yourself in that higher position, and you know that you're on this realm when you're not like stepping on anyone, but there is a subconscious energy that comes attached with that mindset, and there's a need to step away from it for a second and step into the realm of infinite for a moment. um and especially because a lot of people have been like dual jumping, and I call it dual jumping, but that's when you're in two states at once, where your physical body is on like one dimension, and then your spiritual body, your etherical body is on a different dimension. It's like a lot of double jumping and stuff in that nature, and just like you're in and out a lot on the 3D as well, like go dazing off more, and it's because you've been like, it's something about like you've really been astral traveling a lot more. And it's all because it's all like a divine plan. It's some sort of like cornering and then gathering of information. But it has to do with the contract between the Palladians and the Reptilians. If you guys know about that, then you all know about that. Um, I'll probably do a video about that at some point. Um, but yeah, it's something about a contract that's about to be rewritten, about to be changed, or it's in the process of being talked or thought about being changed. Excuse me, I shouldn't jump so fast. But it is something about this etherical contract being rewritten. Not well, not like well, yeah, rewritten. I should just keep it like that. It's fine. Um, but it's to lessen the control um that the reptoids have. I don't know why I want to call them that. Is that okay to say? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm all over the place because I'm getting. But there's like it's galactic loss. Like the reptilians are losing like a more control, more power over the illusion, the matrix, if you will. Um, and it's something as well. It's about the Palladians and the Illyrians that are in this energy heavy with the reptilians. So especially if you have ties with any of them, you may be being called to literal spiritual court in those times being present. Like astrally dream state. However, um, especially if you've been under heavy attack as well. I'm hearing a lot of Lyrians were under heavy attack as well. Um, and especially if you work closely with the Lyrians, you've been going up and down, back and forth through the astral courts, and in a sense of just like retaining, giving information from what you've like gone through down here. There's a power shift, a power exchange that's been going on. Um, and it's something about because we're having what like an eclipse or a mini eclipse or something. Something's going on. There's a lot going on with the moon. There's a lot going on with the moon. There's actually so much going on with the moon. um, but it's all about like knowledge. It's something. It's just really about getting your knowledge, or a continuation of learning. If you've been having like a hard time researching something, or heard like writing a book or a grimoire, expect to be able to like get back on track with that. There's a lot of like an unexpected break that's coming to a halt, and you're able to go back to like work normally. Is what's like what's going on, and it's in this sense of like not to like hurt or stall you in a bad way, but it's almost to force you to rest because like the divine knows that you out of confusion will start to work because you don't know what else to do. And it's one of those things where even if you don't overwork, you just do a little bit of work and it's like, well, if I do this then everything will be fine. And they're trying to keep you from doing that because there's something about like there's some sort of like it's like, oh, I know everything is gonna be fine, but let me do this small thing real quick. It's something about let me do this real quick. Let me do this real quick. That's really popping up. Like, oh, I know I said I was gonna stop doing this, but I need to do this real quick. So let me just do this real quick, and then you do it, and then it's like, okay, let's go. Oh wait, I need to do this. I forgot to do that. Uh, it's like there's something, and it's nothing like big either. It's something small. It's like you could have done it earlier, but you didn't do it earlier, so you're doing it now, and the divine's wanting like it's right here with the forest, or just like I need to really rest. Um, it's about you in spirit. This is about manifestation. This is about your thoughts. This is about you needing to like really allow your thoughts to be at ease, see them for how they are. And there could also even be a laying a foundation on divine law. um I picked up on this a while ago, like months ago. I don't know if I even mentioned it or not, but some people are ha- have higher rankings that watch me in the courts, and there's something about you knowing that you're able to write out laws that have them like looked over for spiritual reasons or for spiritual protection, or like I'm going to, write off that this organization or this yada yada that is protected under spiritual law, under like writing out like protection notices and things of that nature that you do, or writing out just like laws or like changes or like this this and this should happen. There's something about feedback coming back from that, and also a need to start doing that if you are doing that. And if you've been waiting on a response for a while, you're getting the response here soon. Expect one within the next 2 weeks, is how I'm hearing it. There's just been a lot going on in the courts. It's been a lot going on in the courts. There's been a lot going on in the astrals. Like, I've been losing my mind, dude. Like, I've been having so many out of body experiences. I've been so tired. I'm out of my mind. Like, I don't know how to like explain it. I had a spiritual awakening that I knew was gonna happen, and then it just followed up by like 1,000 more, and I just kind of had to sit back and like float through it. Like, there was nothing I could do to it was like fun, but it was like, damn, like I didn't want to learn all that like that fast. But there's something about needing to take this break and like acclimate these energies and all these thoughts that are coming in are things that have been held back for a while. They've been like pushed under the surface because of like a lack of an answer for it. So you just were like, it's whatever, I'll figure it out later. And that later is kind of happening now, especially with the high priestess. This is definitely about knowing spiritual law. And especially again, if you are doing like things with the spiritual course where you're writing out certain laws, or you're helping like, sending in reports of like karmics and stuff of that nature, keep doing so. But again, I'm picking up as well, like, to take it easy. There's something about the intake that you really want to crack some of these cases. So you've been intaking a lot of like karmic readings, and that's been weighing really heavy on you because it's like you're picking up people's baggage again, and you gotta take you time. There's like, you really need the rest, not allowing these thoughts of like, oh, all that stuff's bad's gonna happen. You're not the only one doing these things. Remember that there's always gonna be someone that's jumping in when you jump out. Um, because there's a lot. I mean, like, shit. Because there's a war going on in the light dimension. The underworld has been met. There's been a lot of court fuck ups and issues in the underworld because of all this ramp up of like people using dark magic for all sorts of shit. It's like the fall of Atlantis before it like fell. Um, when a lot of the Egyptian gods got banished because they were going out helping people, that circumstance is kind of happening again. But instead of like people being punished, for teaching people how to do things, it's more of like okay, so we've gone through this before, and the ones that are teaching aren't being like stupid with it. For like of better words, they're not being stupid with it. The ones that are giving information of how to doing certain things out, or leading people down the path of using their own magic and using their own life force, and for for the greater good. Like, if you're protecting yourself in the right ways, you're using. I'm telling you, don't do these things because it's giving people the right direction. So it's not your fault that these things are happening. They just decide to go off with that knowledge and do something, and that's with the age of Aquarius. These cases, these events are being proven like quicker and quicker. That's why things have been so jolty around you and your energy, because it's cases from years ago that are just now being looked at because all these rampant energies happening. It's the year of knowing, the year of Aquarius, you know? And it's, again, it's something the Mayans have been waiting for, because there's something about around the time of the Mayans. I've been getting a lot of downloads about like the Mayans and like all sorts of shit. It's been crazy. But there's something about the Mayan calendars that were made almost in the energy of distress, in like a worrisome, like when we're like counting out the days for the soul being entrapped or something like that. I was picking up on that for a while. I don't know if like what path that's gonna go down whenever I dig on it more, but I'll you know, I'm always down to see what's going on in these like downloads that I get. But there is something about like with the minds and just, you know, waiting on this moment to happen. It's like this, it's the genuine revival of the remembrance of you being a god or a goddess, of you being who you are, of like the understanding, the removal of seeing things as good and bad, and the removal of, and that's another thing. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Thank you, Spirit. I was gonna talk about like the removal of feeling like the word magic is like a bad thing, and I understand like comfortability and stuff, but there's like a need to understand we are in a realm that operates off of nothing but pure magic. This is a magical realm. um you need to erase these negative connotations that you have with certain words, because that in itself puts that spell over you. And you might not believe that it puts a spell under you, but your side effect or the result of the curse of that word is how you react to it. That nasty feeling, that ick, that shiver, is proof that that word has that you're like under a curse, a spell of that, how you feel about that word. It's there. That's the power of your mind. That's the power of words. It's however you feel about something and however you will something to be, which is coming from your feelings. It's like whatever you want to conjure up about feeling about something, the conjuring up these feelings and these thoughts about a word, it will then be that thing. That's why you have to undo these spells that you put on yourself. Um, because that's something they don't like. That's part of this whole like awakening, is understanding that we have been under a spell forever, and everything's been lied to about us. Everything. And I'm talking about everything. Like, it's wild. I mean, like we know, but then you like the ones that are like deeper, like higher mysticisms and of that nature, and however, it you start to understand like what's really going on and how deep this spiritual war really is. And it's not just like a love and light, oh yay fiasco thing. Even that's part of the illusion. um this is a fucked up situation spiritually that we're in. We're not gonna sit back and act like it's not, you know. We're gonna be honest about it. We're gonna have to, we're here to fix this though. We're here to purify um the the existence of ourself that's been dirtied and seen as ill and impure almost. um but yeah, there's a need to as well, like again, like that's even something I couldn't even sit with for a while. When I really, because I'm always like, I'm a seeker, and I've been seeing it a lot. I've been even seeing it in like visions where I'll go to like, it'll be this dark room, and there's this group of people, and it's the light. So I walk towards this group of people, everyone's happy and dancing, and then I just turn around and walk somewhere else, and it's like I like to scourge around somewhere. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go get more information. If I need to go back, I will. But I don't stay there to have to have a good time. The good time happens while I'm currently there. There's no need to have a good time if I'm having a good time when I arrive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for a good time. I'm here to do this mission too. So let's multitask for a minute. Let's get this shit done. Um, and it's like I even when I got like deeper on this mission, I was like, there's no way. Like there has to be more. Like even like reading the tarot, it's like there has to be more of the tarot. And then like I started getting more into that, and I was like, well, there has to be more. Like there's more to like there's just more. There's so much more. Um, and I really want to start talking about it more because it needs to be talked about more because this shit's like we live in it, and if we're gonna break these curses over our lives, we're gonna need to be able to like really open our eyes and like wash out the gunk that we're fed, and we have to like erase our brains basically. Like we've got to keep it real with it. We've been told so many things that are lies, and it's like we've been so used to just like shaking them off and like ignoring them. And this is like the thing. This is like a wake up call. And that like with strength reverse, this is like your thoughts would be going crazy, or you might be feeling like you're going insane. And let me tell you, that's been like a major reason why I haven't been like live. It's not been like bad, but it's been one of those things where I literally have to sit down all day and like play with the thought of the discovery I find, and just like the like understanding how deep this really is, and seeing the truth. It almost leaves like a horrifying taste in your mouth at first when you really start to find out who you are and like why you're here. And it's like it's not in a bad sense either, but it puts you into a perspective of, oh, that's what's up. Like it's like something, it's more than that. It's like, yeah, it's more than that feeling, but that feeling is all you can get. And the way I can't describe it. The ones that have felt it will feel it. And it's not like, again, it's not bad because it hits you, but then it's like, fuck, well, if I'm here and I'm doing it, then that means I'm already on the path, and that means I'm fine. Like that's good. So I'm already fine. But it's just that feeling that's like, it wakes you up, and it steers you on the path that you're supposed to be on. And it leads you right to the places that you're supposed to be studying and looking upon. And it happens quick. And so just expect, especially if you've been working really hard on like wanting to learn more about like the spiritual history of things, or to find out like what was stolen from Egypt, and like fuck, even back with Pangea, if you want to call it that, even, and understanding like what the stars are and the planets, and just like these things that people like, oh yeah, the planets are celestial beings, yeah, and they just skip over that. Like what? Like yes, the planets are celestial beings, yeah, the stars you see are like galaxies outside, yeah, like that's, there's more to it, and people understand these things, but there's like it's like ignoring it. And it's like, so what do you mean like the stars are galaxies? Well, stars are miniature suns, and a sun signifies a source of life. You need a sun to have life. So why else would, like I don't know, it's like there's like this whole part of people explaining things to you that isn't looked at, and it's because it's frowned upon. Um it's like, oh, that's not rational. Well, I don't want to be rational. We're not here to be separate. We're here to come back to who we are, and to remember who we are, and to unite, to be as we fucking I mean, for God's sake, we're so split that the fucking continents moved. Like the the tectonics of the world, like and shit. We're so split up because of that shit. Like, understand the outside's the reflection of the in. So what the fuck was going on to cause the there's always a reason behind everything of that nature. And there's like, just need to understand that there could be a fear of having these seeds planted with the Nine of Swords. But it's just like, again, it's just a test to see if you want to expand to your knowledge to to that amount, and if you don't, hey, I don't blame you. You keep where you're comfortable for a minute, but just understand that that comfortability is not a bad thing. It is a warning to allow you to reflect and to be aware of your next steps, but also to show you, hey, you're reaching that golden nugget of what you want, which is the truth. And it's funny because looking back on it, especially as being a reader, looking back at it and trying to and wanting to figure out the truth, you will only go as far as you truly want to. So at first, like, you weren't ready to know the truth. So you need to watch all these readings about the magic that was done onto you and then heal from that cycle and then see all the magic that's done on the world. Like, there's these steps that were taken about seeing the truth, and it's like they felt like attacks, like things were bad on you, but it was only to be like, yeah, if you wanted to know the truth, well, let's start with the first truth, which is the truth that you've known since you were a child, because that was the one thing that you only knew when you were a child, is that everything's fucking magic, and that's the world, is everything that you want and everything that you want to create is real. I mean, let's get down and nitty gritty with it. How many of us had imaginary friends that literally would sit around, talk, and like move objects around and shit like that? You think that was just a part of like, oh yeah, when you're a child you just have these experiences like that, and then as an adult they never happen again. The fuck are you talking about? What are you talking, like, who, like, you can't just walk up to me and say that. I will look at you like, what do you mean? And so it's a child, it's what happens. So when you're a baby, you have the power of a god when you're a baby, but then when you grow up, you have none of it. It's like it's just gone. You just use it all in your baby life. So would you manifest when you were the baby, like a bunch of bottles of milk or something? Is that what you're telling me? It's like you all the milk that it took to feed me as a child is like used up all my god powers or whatever. Like, no, it's there. It's still there for you. You can still create these entities to do these things. Like, there, it's how the world is. So there's like this understanding of like really breaking it down and seeing like not only, and it's like, and it's not to scare you, but I can understand where the fear energy comes from, but it's to show you like that not only the world is ran by curses and external forces. Not only are other people's decisions ran by that same thing, but you are also ran by it, and your internal is also ran by it as well. It's like this understanding of the steps of the reason why I feel like this is because so and so says that I do that too much. And if they're a reflection of me, then they're just telling me that I know that I'm doing that too much. And I might be telling myself I'm doing something too much. And there's this whole agreement. It's like all the energy was pointing towards you in the sense of like you to grab a hold of it to connect the current so you can get the green light to go on. But there was this rejection of it, and this rejection came from like this energy of like spite almost. And if it wasn't out of spite, it was out of like just, I don't want to, well, maybe arrogance for some, but like not wanting to, it's like snooty. I don't know how else to, I don't know the best word to describe it, but I don't want to like seem like too harsh. But you were very like almost like cold-hearted towards everyone. And then you were cold-hearted towards like those that fucked you over. And it's like you've gone through this evolution of like being, being loving towards everyone, and then being selective, and then being bitter, and then coming out of that, and then it's just like now you're just becoming more like in tune. I'll leave it with in tune. You're becoming more in tune. You're in the present more. There's more of an actual like, I don't know. Like it's just like I can't explain it because it's one of those things that like you might even just be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I remember when I wouldn't do that. Like you're self observing your own growth, and it's even like to the point of like you maybe you would like second guess sending a message because you're like, oh, I feel like I'm doing something wrong or I'm disturbing someone if I'm gonna send them this message, and that thought like it pops up and you acknowledge it, like you're acknowledging that thought, and then you immediately just go, well, it doesn't fucking matter, and then you do what you need to do anyway. It's like you're it's this because I mean again, like being just a light being, being someone of pure love and light, understanding these like unspoken laws of like energy transfer and how it is are like you can't really tell people that understand that shit. Like it's something that's really just ingrained in us. It's like it's nothing that you can. It's like what the fuck bros code is or whatever the fuck. It's like that made up bullshit where like you can do certain things and you can't do others. It's like those laws are just ingrained in us. It just makes sense for us to ask certain things. Like we can't really explain that to people, but it's like these small barriers that you thought were like rude and selfish are leaving. You're not seeing them as like acts of selfishness anymore. You're more in the moment, in the present, and it's like I don't know. I mean, it's just like something happens. You're like, okay, cool. Cut next. Like cut next scene. It's like next scene, next scene. It's just that energy, and it's helping you move along almost because there's just this energy of like almost having like more fun, yes, but having more fun with the conflict that's on your path. Almost, you're seeing it more of as like you're seeing it more like the game that the divine intended it to be. Yeah, especially with the Ace of Cups, you're seeing how like pure, how innocent it actually is, how innocent these like mess ups are. Oh, this didn't go my way. Let me retry it instead of understanding that oh, if I do this, it's not for my best interest. It's like now instead of you being mad at the divine and the energy of like oh I fucked up and now I have to go like beg and plead for forgiveness and all this bullshit. You don't have to do that. It's like this knowing of like, oh, I made a mistake. That's okay. I know why I made the mistake. I know how it occurred. And the divine's like, there, perfect. Keep that attitude. Keep moving forward. You're not. But there's also this mental battle where your thoughts want you to say that that's you throwing away. Like, oh, you're doing that. You're not really focusing on the emotion. No, but you are though because you're realizing and you're just accepting the fact, hey, I made a mistake. There's something about acceptance that needs to be rewired about you. There's something about acceptance that's making you feel like it's not working or you're not accepting something because of a lack of guilt that doesn't need to be felt. There's some sort of like guilt that you just don't need. And you're feeling it or you're trying to find this guilt within you to fulfill a external result, which that external result would be your mood change. But and it's because you've been so used to those types of cycles happening, to those types of things going around, where one thing good happens and then coincidentally nothing else, something else bad happens. Like that cycle is ending, and you're almost waiting on that punchline of and like when is this gonna happen? Jokes on you, it's not gonna happen. But if you keep waiting for it to happen, something will happen. So accept the fact that you're good for the sake of yourself, um, and allow the divine to really push you through with this. And I know it can be very like difficult and just be like, what do you mean there's no bad repercussion? Like I'm good? Like yeah, it's that simple. Like when the divine says you are supposed to live like well, because it's destined for all of us to live really easy, smooth lives. We all have like a destined path, a chosen career, a way of life that we all have. Like that's just it's all preordained. Um, but through years of like magic manipulation, like bootlegging and jerry rigging all sorts of texts and doing all sorts of funny shit to the history and to the wisdom of the land that's been going on for like what 6,000 6,060 6,600 years ish. I'd say around that time. If you know, you know. That's been fucking around with that, and yeah, it's like just unlearning these old patterns that's really helping you grow, heal, and evolve. And again, like just knowing your history, like digging into who you are, is really gonna help you. And this could even be like gravitation towards books. Maybe you keep seeing like images from a book. You might need a reverse image search that image. And if you don't know how to do that, you just go to Google and you click the little camera icon. And you can upload a photo there, or copy a photo there, and it will look for it online. And you can usually find the book from it like that. But that might be something you need to do. But there's some sort of like Easter egg hunt. I wanted to say piggyback or piggy hunt. I don't know what the fuck that is. I wanted to say like whatever it is, like Easter egg hunt that the divine's trying to put you on, in the sense of like if you want it so bad, go find it, but not in like a mean sense, but in the way of like, let me make you laugh a little bit because you've been so fucking stressed out and looking in your emotions, and you've been doing such a good job like healing. It's like stop. It's like you're good. Like I mean, like don't stop, of course, but like line up. You're healing. You're fine. Okay. You are going to. And here, let me tell you. Let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you about healing. I mean, some people do, but I don't hear it that much. Whenever you feel, when you are at a point of your healing journey where you are looking into yourself and being like, oh, I'm unhealed because I'm responding to someone in this type of way, that's right there is perfect. There's no need to shoot over that line, because that right there is showing you that you have healed from everything that's allowing you now to be visible and present of that next um of the next level, the next barrier that you're next breaking. The fact that you're like, oh shit, I'm still doing this, that's not the divine telling you, look, your mistake. That's the divine showing you where you're heading next. That's the next barrier that you're aiming for to break. That understanding of, oh, let me stop saying words of this nature. Let me stop saying this phrase. Let me stop doing this so much. Let me stop doing that so much. That's all it's trying to show you, is that that's the next stage that you're breaking. You being aware of that is a sign that you have healed from your past cycle that you were wanting to heal from, that's good. This is what we're working on next. Take you a break. That initial, like, oh fuck, I'm doing it. When you notice that, that's good. The more you notice it, it's just getting your subconscious ready. It's getting your consciousness ready. Your subconscious and your consciousness are communicating, and they're getting themselves ready to manifest. This is the funny part about it, because they're working together in conspiracy against you, not in a bad way, but to manifest events in your life that will cause you to make that type of reaction, to see if you're really paying attention. And you get this trial, and it's like, I've been hearing, and I've been working on like not responding so sharply to people. And then it just so happened that today Samantha at the bakery blew her lid off at me, and I had to not respond in a very sharp tone towards her, or else the whole store would have gone up in flames. And I didn't respond. Like, that's literally how the divine tests you. And once you pass that first initial test, everything's good. So there's less of a need to pay attention to your feelings at this time, but pay attention to you, and not you on the physical. Who cares? Like, your physical appearance. You can think how you want about yourself, and I understand like struggling with like body dysmorphia and just other elements of the physical that can happen. There's a need to focus on who you are, like who your soul is, who your lineage are, and the best way to do it really is to get into a meditative state, and whatever comes up in your head naturally is for you. Um, no one can truly tell you who you truly are, except for yourself. I mean, you can get readings. You can go to anyone. I mean, I've even given past life readings about who people might have been, or like situations in their past, and like past life regressions and stuff. But that's not gonna tell you who you are, because who you are an experience that then we put labels on, make stories of, to keep things in a cycle, to remind us um, of these cycles, of these next steps, of these next adventures that we're going on. So when you get to really know who you are, it's less of like, oh, I'm seeing and I'm hearing all these gods and goddesses talk to me, and I look up these energies and they're appearing to me. It's more of a feeling. It's the feeling. It's that fire that lights up in your soul when you're like on the right track. It's that excitement that you feel. It's that genuine golden light that fills your body up, that really gets you heated and not passionate and not in any emotion, but just the feeling, the warmth of the divine being around is how you know these things. Um, and people don't tell you about this. Um, and I can understand why, because I mean, shit, we were in the age of Pisces. You think people are gonna use that shit correctly? Hell no. Fuck no. It was for the longest time, and for a lot of people, even myself included, I had to find out that myself. I had to find this out myself. This information's hidden from people because dumbasses will literally like hypnotize themselves to thinking that there's someone that they're not, and then they'll just go off living off that energy. Now we're in the age of Aquarius. You can't do that shit no more. I mean, if you try to, you're gonna. This is not gonna be fun because you're punished by the exact thing you're trying to copy. So good luck with that. You know. Um, so that's why a lot of people, even like people like your people that you know who are like connected to the divine and really like out there speaking, they might be seeming different on camera, drained or whatever. And it's because the divine's putting them to the test of like, oh, so you say you're with these deities, you say that you are the vessel for this soul. You're saying with you're with these energies, then let's prove it. Let's put you through an energetic test that they would pass and see if you stand forth. And if you do, congratulations. And if you don't, do some more digging because there's something about your ego that's showing up. And that's just what's going on. That's what the divine really checks you up on, is making sure if you know yourself. And it's less of if you know yourself, it's more if you're comfortable with who you are and not who you want to be, um, as well. And um, understanding that you are everything, but you have a destined role, and everyone has destined roles. Some people are going to be destined to know more than others, and there's just like a jealousy boundary that has to be like broken. Like maybe you know someone that has a closer connection to a deity than you do, but you both work very closely with the deity, and it like that kind of riles you up. Like don't allow these things to like make you upset. Allow them to just, it's like I don't know. You really have to just remember that you are a student on this realm, and that you are an apprentice. It doesn't matter how much of a master you are. You are an apprentice on this, or on this realm. You know, if you were a master, you would not be here. I don't care what the fuck. I'm here to tell you the full blown truth, and your ego is gonna say another thing. You wouldn't be on this earth if you were completely mastered. You know, we master things as much as we can on this realm, as much as this realm will allow us to, as much as we ourselves allow ourselves to do these things. And that comes with deeper and deeper levels of healing that your average person walking around is not going to be at. And your average person in the collective is not going to be at that either. Let me be honest with you. Like, we're talking about straight up, like, monks, running like marathons, fasting for 9 days, and shits of that nature. We're talking about the ones that like dedicate their whole life to this, and it's not because of like an event they had. These are souls know and not only know but are ready to put in the full sacrifice for the purification cycle, to sacrifice their fleshy desires for the true betterment of the earth. We fight sacrifice to sacrifice in multiple different ways, energetic, physical. However, it's replicated on both sides. It's just how the balance is. Um, but like, there's just a need to really like spiritual egos are getting checked, like a lot. And it's this energy of like, just if you are, prove it. But no, there's no punishment. The only real punishment that anyone would be getting from this is just like a punishment of self. Now, that's not going for the ones that are out do malicious shit. I'm not focusing on them. I'm focusing on us collective. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about them today. Um, But for us, the ones that have been working on our gifts and doing things and working with certain deities, we're going to be put to this test of like, okay, you want to walk with this deity. This is their realm. This is how you know them from your research. But then the divines are going to show you that if you're going to work with this deity, you're not going to be in this one field that you really want to be in. You're going to be over here doing some shit that you weren't expecting to do. I was not, me personally, I was not expecting to have to like lay down with souls that have recently passed and talk to them about like what they've gone through. I did not expect when I would be doing that while working with Anubis. I've been doing that for almost 2 years, and that shit's like it's I don't know how to describe it. It's wild. Um, But like now you have to make sure that you're ready for these things when you're working with deities, because the work that you're doing isn't for the light of heart for one, and it really is to purify and help keep a pure and sustainable balance, because this world is, you know, on the darker side. Let's just keep it a buck. The world's on a darker spectrum at this time. So, doing deity work of natures of that, where you're working with passed on souls and you're working with the underworld to bring more of that balance back in, like that's the thing that's going to be happening for a lot of people. So like if you're rocking with deities, especially deities, because me and Anubis, I don't know what the fuck's been going on with our connection recently, but we are like, me, Anubis and I, we're close. We're close. If you've been doing a lot of work with like Anubis or like Sobek, um, Isis, Osiris, um, Horus, even like just the gods or goddesses that are working in the underworlds, like um, expect to get called more, and like y'all know what work you do. I'm not here to like, I don't want to, because I'm like I don't want to really deal with those that aren't aware of like, oh well, you're talking about the underworld and you're talking about all these gods and goddesses that are like evil, like that they're evil because the book that you read said that they are evil, and you're basing your entire knowledge off of that one book, or because of an experience that you had with the deity, and you're like you're not really seeing it. Like a warning isn't gonna be like a playful thing all the time. Some people get warned by deities not to mess with them in like the weirdest ways, man. Not everyone gets like the pat on the back situation. But regardless, it's just about like your spiritual evolution. Also, be more. There's an energy of needing to be more like boastful. Don't be so scared. Like, cause listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, dude. They they played us good. They got us good on this earth. They got us good. You know what they got us thinking? They got us thinking this. They got us thinking it's a bad to be happy for what you're doing. They want you to feel bad about having something to celebrate about, or being good at something, or oh, I work with this deity, or they want you to keep your spiritual practices like hushed. Why? Is it because you're working with karmic energy still, and you haven't figured out your full potential of your power? Understandable if so. Like, again, like, we're on different levels. If you don't know your true power and how truly powerful you are, and like how connected you are, and like if you're not on the spiritual path where you're no longer going to others for information, it's like, here, let me find a good way of putting this, because it's not wrong to get information from people, and I'm not trying to put that out there. I want to like be very specific with my words right now. This is very important. But you get to a point on your journey where you're able to rely on yourself more. And those like that know, others that don't, we'll figure this out down the road. But there comes a point to where you stop going to like old people, old speakers, and like spiritual volunteers that have come down to raise the vibration and to preach and to protect. You stop watching them, and you start either spreading to new people or just staying away from the content altogether. And during those phases, it's very important to take in everything, the lessons. It's like a review before the test, and the test doesn't happen externally. A lot of the test coincidentally happens the moment you're aware of the test. I noticed a lot in my readings, a lot of people, and myself included, I would even feel it whenever there would be a test present. And I would immediately, like, I would even respond, oh, hell no, I'm not going to deal with this. Or I would see people respond, I'm not going to deal with this right now. I don't want to deal with this. That would have, like, that was the failing of the test, is not being open to the test. Who said that they would come to you in person? That's those things you need to break down. Those are those thinking patterns that the divine needs to be aware of. Like, all these boundaries you put up between, like, oh, I don't want so and so in my energy because I don't want to see them in person. Well, who said that you see them in person? Like, why are you making an excuse for why you don't want something to happen if you yourself are not healed from it? And that's something you really had to look at. And this is something that not a lot of people are going to like, because frankly, in the age of Aquarius, in the age of knowing, we are here to start knowing things and no longer assuming and thinking that one thing we can do one thing. We're going to start actually knowing, oh, I believe I'm spiritual because of this, or I believe that um, I am like this powerful because XYZ. I got a reading that told me something. Regardless, instead of just believing these things, you're now knowing them. If you are, then live it. Um, and that comes with the understanding of living it doesn't mean, oh, I need this amount of money to live like that, or I need that. No, it's an energy you embody that carries those side effects, if you will, the causes to the effect. So there's just a need to really, it's like a new understanding, and this is where people get. This is why I don't like. I have so many like issues with like the spiritual journey, because you really have to get through the scammers. Let me tell you, you got to get through the scammers when you first jump, especially nowadays. Oh my god, you got all these people. This is how you really manifest. No, it's not. Let me tell you, bitch. If that was the directive for you to manifest, everyone like you, then everyone on this earth would have it too. Let me be honest with you. Everyone manifests in their own way. We're all on a different fucking frequency. We have one range that we stay in with, which is our heartbeat. I forgot what our heartbeat frequency is, but we all have that same frequency. It's a range of that number, either like positive or negative. I'm telling you, it's the same thing. So like, we all have our different little quirks, our different ways of manifestation. But the one thing that like allows you to manifest is understanding the process of manifestation, which is not I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. No, that's called magic. Manifestation takes something we call premeditation, which is thinking about and gaining the energy, making the energy potential. What is it? Potential? Yeah, it's potential and then kinetic energy. You can make it potential energy so that you're able to make it kinetic energy with the feeling that's going to be fueling the flame or feeling that the project, because you can start whatever you want, but if you don't have that initial passion for it, it's not going to go anywhere. And it's just like, because I mean, well, yeah, you can manifest with like that two-step program, but then it's like, what? Does it work all the time? Not really. That two-step programs that everyone talks about, and they try and like, oh, manifest by listening to frequencies. Yeah, well, what the fuck is that frequency going to be doing if you're sitting there thinking the entire time it's not going to work, and then you don't know how to get yourself to think it's not how you're not, because you can't get yourself to stop thinking it's not going to work because no one's ever taught you how to do that. So then you're sitting there listening to it, and then you keep hearing it's not going to work. So now every time you hear that frequency, it puts you in that same energy of, oh, it's not going to work. Like these things no one talks to you about, they just expect you to know these things, like, oh my god, I'm spiritual. Like, no, you're not. You're like, just, you're posting about it, but you're not giving them, you're giving them bones. Where's the meat? And everyone has like different variety of how deep they'll go, and that comes to a little bravery, because like a lot of this shit they don't want you knowing about. And who's they? They's literally the government, the fucking archons that rule this fucking planet, dude, that were sent from, oh my god, dude, there's so much. I really gotta like dedicate a life to this. I really do. I really gotta like, because it's like, it's one of those things where like the more you know, it's just awful. It really is a fucking war out here within this spiritual shit. And it's like it is, but it's just when you hit those new levels of the journey, you just realized how like damn, really? Like it's that way. It's been like, yeah, it's been that long. That's the boundaries. That it's been that many years, that many like decades. Don't even put a time frame on it. Don't even put a time frame on it, because that just like gives it like a lesser effect. Like that's why we are told not to define things, because defining things like lesser is how we feel about it. Oh, we hear like a decade, like we understand a decade's a long time, but because we understand it's a long time, and it's like, oh, a decade, that's like what, 10 years? Like, oh, that's a long time. Well, like, yeah, that just like that right there tore apart how long a decade is. Like you like why are you defining it? Like time shouldn't be defined. That's why we shouldn't define time. And they um sorry, I got like there's a string on my head that's tickling the inside of my nose. That's like getting me. No, but and then they do these time spells on us where we like have to define everything by time and constrain everything. So then we like, oh, but that happened XY years ago. Well, what the hell is a year? Like, come on. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just one of those things. And the divine really wants you to like open your mind. Like, how many days are in a year? 365, but yet we only know 7 of them. You know, like where are the other days at? Like, genuinely, I don't know. Like, that was like when you really start really questioning some shit. It's like, what are we like? Why so many definitions for things? And then we have studies saying that, oh, you can't define those things, and these things technically don't exist, but we're still defining them. Like, why? So what are you? So what's good? Like, why? Like, if you're telling us we don't need to define them, but then we keep defining them, like the way the way that the government, that the powers, the energies that rule over this realm, the way that they have these little fucking paradoxes and little loopholes in this bullshit where they use your free well, every not even just yours but mine, like everyone's free will against them because it's your free will to be ignorant. And how do you know that you have this free will of knowledge if you've been abused and murdered and slaughtered for years due to it? Who knew that trauma was stored into bodies? I don't know, the Egyptians, the Kemets that you fucking kicked out 3,500 ish years ago to then create a whole system and then start adding letters to the alphabet and start creating words that don't need to exist. And then you created the letter J, and then like I don't know, just like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's just like bullshit. But there's like this spark of energy of just like don't walk away from your true passion. If you're really about wanting to fight this fight, then educate yourself. That's what I'm hearing, because something's about to get like up. Like there's a war about like the spiritual war that we're about to enter is going to be something. It's like unlike anything humankind has seen. That's how I'm hearing it. It's just something about it. Like consciousness is being fucked with a lot recently, and like you have to think of it. We're stirring the pot. Every day, people are getting more spiritual, and that, in the sense, in the vibration of the world rising, and that making people who are just souls like husks, and they're elevating because that's just the law. And then we're getting more people on the 8% to send us to another dimension, because we need like I think it's like 8% to fully elevate the consciousness up to its next degree or some shit like that. I think it's 8%. I can't remember, but it's something like that, and it's just happening. And there's something about the divine. Really, it's something about a book. It's something about you need to become the seeker again. Start looking. Start finding some shit. The divine is trying to send things to you. All you have to do is like put in some. It's a treasure hunt. Put in some effort. Like that's how I'm hearing it. I'm just hearing it. Like, listen, I know you're exhausted, and I know you're tired, but this is something fun for you. This is something that's gonna give you excitement. This is something that's gonna bust your brain open that you've been wanting for a minute. So just participate. It's like it's giving one of those like just open the damn door. Like come on. Like let's go. Let's just get this done. Like come on. It's like because you've it's not that you've grown sour. You've grown a bit tough skinned. You've grown a little bit in your shell. Um, and there's also just like there is a huge point on this spiritual journey that a lot of people have been going through where you just get tough and you're just like you don't fuck with no one can fuck with you. You just don't give a damn, and you're just like I'm closeted off to people. I got my two friends that I talk to, and that's it. And if anyone has a disagreement with me, they can get fucked. Like you have that moment on this journey, you do, because you really gotta toughen up and be able to put that mode on and be like, you know what, if you guys aren't gonna support me, I got myself. Like I got my shield, I got everything I need. I gotta move. And there's a need to exit that energy and get more playful again. It's like now you know how to. It's like it's like testing out a new weapon in your arsenal. Like you know how to get into that mode, and you've been gradually coming out of it. But it's this energy of coming out of it a little bit, and then shooting back down, and then coming back out of it again, and then shooting back down. And the divine wants you to know that that's happening because they're showing you how fast you can slip back into that energy. And it's to show you like, hey, even though you're like here, you can get back to that point, but you need to understand what triggers you to get down to that point. And we're trying to show you that trigger so that whenever you do need to shut yourself down from feeling bad or feeling someone else's emotions for them, or for picking up the dirty laundry that isn't yours, you'll be able to snap that on and be like, you know what? No, I'm not feeling this. That's all on you. Like, you got to get your shit straight, honey, because I'm cool over here doing my shit. Like, I'm cool. You're going crazy. I'm minding my shit. And it's like that's that energy you need to learn how to snap on. So when you get pushed back down to that low energy, use that bottom energy where the divine does nothing but funnel into you. Since you're at the bottom, that's where all the water has to hit and gather at. That's where all the emotion gathers at. That's where all the fuel, the beginning of the cycle happens is in the depths. Use that time in that depth energy. And I know it might be difficult, to switch from like this to from this energy to the one you were recently in, or the one that you are in, but take steps at it to really be like, why am I here? I like this event that happened. What in this event struck me to make this happen? And remember it. And it's something. It's like it's really gonna be like a switch. And you'll even like catch yourself almost. But whenever you need to like do something in that nature, but it's a defense mechanism. It's like the divine's trying to show you that these mechanisms that you develop with trauma aren't supposed to be these things that are on all the time. These are our mechanisms for warfare. These are how we defend ourselves, how we protect ourselves, on the physical, even spiritually, in that manner. But there's a need to really see it like that. Like, really, there's something like there's the need to real there's like a brighter side of something that you're not seeing. And it's like it's that empowerment that you've been needing for a while is how I'm hearing it. Hold on. Can I get you one? My phone's about to die, so I gotta like charge it. Excuse me. But yeah, like focus on just focus on what what triggers you and how it triggers you. What is it that puts you into these modes? And they want you to know. I'm hearing Basset, especially. Basset is coming through. And Aphrodite as well. They're proud of you. They want you to know that you're doing well. But there's something about you're not seeing your inner beauty the way that you're supposed to. And it could be because of like a past energy of like someone stereotyping you because of the way you look, or I don't know, even like some sort of like body shaming. But there's an energy that's hiding within that, and the energy's trying to show you something that you don't really even believe yourself, but instead of fighting that belief, you're kind of allowing it to exist. And it's because you've grown used to it. Um, and that's what we've all grown to. Everyone, we're all like, yeah, everything's fine. I'm not stressed out, but you've just grown accustomed to the amount of stress that we have. We, as as humans, as spirits and vessels, do you notice how fast we breathe? We breathe like panicked animals. We don't breathe in deeply unless we're like focusing on our breath. We're pretty fast paced breathers. We didn't always used to be this way. We didn't used to be so panicked. We used to be able to breathe slowly and calmly. That's why we were so connected. That's why our breath is so important. That's why we got to get our breath work up. That's how we connect to the spirit. That's how we connect to the divine. That's how we connect. That's how we live. I mean, for fuck's sake, like, and like, understandable if you have like breathing issues and stuff, but really just Not understand how to connect to the divine, but don't allow the fact that you can't do something make you feel like your connection is hindered. That's something you don't need to do. Let me point that out. There are multiple ways to connect to the divine, and none are better than the other. Do not listen to any sort of weird bullshit that wants to be like it's better to do it this way, especially if it's from some old fucking book. Because 9 times out of 10, especially if it's a book that you had to go searching for, it's connected to some sort of fucking organization or some sort of cult, or if it's taken from the library of insert fucking State Department here. It's gonna your energy that you use and fucking use this spell from the book word by word is gonna siphon from the fucking thing you got it from back to wherever the fuck they want to send it. So don't do rituals your own stuff, man. Like, look, you will find a million ways to do one spell. I don't know how many fucking there. You know how many ways you can do a return to sender. Like, let's get real. Like, let's talk about it. Like, acknowledge these things. Do you know how many ways there's a way to do a return to sender? There's 1,000,000,000 ways to do a return to sender. And you want to say one way's better than the other? No. That's just how you relate with your energy. You just have a stronger connection to your energy than the other person. You wanted that person to go away a little bit more than someone else wanted to. You put in a little extra energy. That's all it is at the end of the day. Understand these things. Get with the program. And it's not in like a bad sense either, but it's like one of those things where you it's like you don't want to learn more. Like, oh, I'm this goddess. I don't want to learn anymore. I'm this insert title, or I I just don't have. I mean, like if you don't have time to study, that's completely fine. Like, listen, you make time though. Like the divine wants you to know, make time. If you need help to make time, ask them. You know, fucking if it's Father you're talking to. If you want to worry about time, ask Father for more of it. Be like, hey, listen, I need more time to do shit. How can you help me out with this? Because like if you want me to do this, I you need to give me time. If you're gonna run this shit, run it with me. Let me run with you. What time you got me on, Father? You know. Same with Mother. If you're giving yourself that love, what time you got me on, Mom? What time, like, you want me doing this shit when I wake up, midday, when I'm going to bed, multiple times a day? How are we doing this healing shit? Talk to them. They got the plan. You are the one doing this shit. They're the one telling you. All you gotta do is listen to them. And be like, yeah, I need you to do this. Oh, I need you to go to the store and pick up some basil. Why do I need to pick up basil? Just pick up basil. Just do it. Listen to it sounds stupid, but listen to the divine. They work in these weird ways that you don't believe. And it's like, and people will contest. People have stories, their lives being saved for this doing this weird shit. Like I've had stories of people who've had like infections, and even me, I'm going through an ear infection right now, um, and I'm just doing what the divines tell me to do, and it's draining out and it's healing. Um, but people have had stories where their lives have been saved by doing that, and just really listening to the divine and like having like cancers on their body and going out and like rubbing mud and letting it dry and harden on their body and stuff of that nature like that. So like, listen, your ancestors know best, because here's the thing: your ancestors were surviving this shit. Do you really think everyone was dying? Like would we be here right now if everyone in the past died off from some sort of weak illness? Do you understand these things? Evolution doesn't just happen overnight. And evolution doesn't happen because of one faulty error. No. The evolution got us prepared for this stage. And as we evolve, everything else evolves around us. So we're prepared for the old world, not the new. Some people are prepared for the new world and they can't stand the old. It's just part of evolution. Some people are more evolved than others. It's just how it is. You know? I don't know. It's like this, it's, especially because the way spirits, it's like humor. Really understand, this is like the seeing of the light of the situation. You're understanding what the light is, and the light is not seeing this glorious white ball, which white is not whole light. White is not wholly light. White is fractured light. Whole light is the spectrum of the rainbow. That's light in its full form. When it's fractured, it's white light. Because like, see, because that's something that like I knew for a while, but it didn't click. It didn't like fully click, and I was like, damn. I've been thinking about it. I kind of had that backwards because they tell us that like when it becomes whole, whenever it doesn't have to refract or reflect, it's like rainbowed. Like these things that they tell us, and then like the divine being holy and being signified as a rainbow, it's like, huh, you know what I mean? Anyway, um like but anyway, seeing like getting the light of the situation isn't just like seeing something or understanding something in a higher like way. We as humans would like to make everything grandeur because we're so addicted to senses. That's the one thing that we have on this realm that isn't on any other realm are like our senses to like we need to be able to like touch things. We have to have all these like sensors on us and all these things. Like we don't need to be as dependent on these five senses because we have the intuition, we have the higher knowledge in these higher dimensions. So down here, if something's not as intense or extreme, we're less likely to notice and or be affected by it. So a lot of us like to think that these awakenings that we have are gonna be like extremely life changing and oh holy shit, this energy is so crazy. But what you're not understanding is in those moments of this is the funny part. In the moments of you building yourself up to those moments of being like, oh yeah, I can't wait to feel this extremely big breakthrough, you're getting the energy of that breakthrough during those moments. You would not be able to handle all of the energy like that at once. You would probably like that's because you don't realize how much you're doing it. You don't understand how much energy is going into it. You would be knocked out cold for it. You probably get like be sent up to check from mom and pop to check up on you personally if all the energy hits you at once. Like it, you have to take things in levels. And me personally, dude, whenever I got my first like chain breakthrough, I had a few of my chains break at once, and I felt like I got shot through the chest. Like it not in a bad sense either, but I could like I it was one of those feelings, dude. And I know people out there know how I'm feeling, but it's just like it was it was something, dude. When you feel the divine like lift you and take you out of situations, it's something glorious. It's like it really is something that like cannot be described by words, but is an internal feeling. And it makes you understand like you get why it's called a breakthrough. You feel it. You really feel it. You like rip through the dimensions that you stuck yourself in. I don't someone needs to hear this as well. Think of emotions as shapes. Someone needs to know. I don't know why that came through, but someone needs to think of emotions as shapes and like see yourself as being in the middle of that shape so you can better understand why you feel about something a certain way. There's something about like needing to make a maze in your mind of the emotion that you feel so that you have like an actual like way of working through it. There's something about you like it's like you need some sort of like physical work, and that's why you're not wanting to like have something go through is because you're unable to really understand or grasp the idea of how something could work without seeing like face to face. But that energy that's like coming up. It's like it's trying to show you how you can do it on your own. So allow yourself to experiment with that, because there is like a wanting to release energy, but it's unable to come like release because of this like this unknowing of how to do something, but then also on top of that this frustration that's blocking out getting the direct messages from the divine. But with the Knight of Wands and the Magician, this is definitely like you. Dude, I can't. Like, it's just there's just an energy of like your world's about to just explode. Like I just it's like this awakening, this really like really big waking. I don't know, and it's so exciting. It's actually so exciting. I'm loving it. It's just energy of just like one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna get it, or something that you've been looking for, this deeper understanding, this aha moment that you have been looking for is gonna appear. It's just given like research. It's given like your knowledge. It's given brain shit. You might even find out someone likes you. Like it's giving that like it's given that like it's just the energy of gaining knowledge, and that's something that you've been fucking wanting for a while. I feel it. It's just like I've been told. I just seen an orb of light. Like, hi, welcome through, come in. Anyway, it's like you're wanting to be like, I want this to happen, and I know that I have to do all these things first, and you've done all these things, and you're kind of just sitting there now, like, what the fuck do I do now? And they're like, just wait, and it's like, well, I've been waiting, so what? Like, what are you doing? I'm waiting. It's like the divine's like, well, just like chill, we got it. Let us, with the Ace of Wands, let us work through you. There's something we're trying to tell you. So this agitation, this like, where's it at? Like looking around, this energy of like needing it now. Cease it for a second, because the divine's trying to like give you that energy, that notion to be like, hey, go do this instead, so everything can smoothen out for you. But again, it's like if you are learning something new, it's giving like I just love it so much. It really is like, for some of you, I feel it. Some of you are about to go through your first consciousness upgrade, and that might be a little terrifying for you. Because I am feeling it. And it's not like it's a scary thing, but just understand that a lot of people had to go through that consciousness break. Some people didn't really notice it. Some people noticed it a lot. I mean, for me, I noticed it, but I'm observant as fuck. So like, just watching it go through. But there is a consciousness upgrade that's happening, and like these upgrades. Whenever anyone talks about like a conscious upgrade, it's not really something you can. It's not something you can pass up on. These things are regulated by cosmic order. Um, that's why you have people who are sent and reincarnated gods and deities here to help raise the percentage of people who are in the highest vibrations up to like the 33rd degree of the vibrations that this planet needs, to be at its fullest, highest self, like generating properly. That's why we come back, is to help. Like you have different squadrons of helping these souls remember who they are, because they've been under this curse for fucking years. It's not your karma that you're paying, but on this realm, and remembering that everything's a mirror on this realm, it's this weird double mission where you're really here saving people from themselves by saving you from yourself. It's a weird way of like, and that's why it's so difficult for the chosen ones to really come down here and fight. Because we're fighting a war of violence. And you have to fight violence with violence on this realm. That's how it's been ruled for so long. Our violence isn't violence to us, just like their violence isn't violence to them. It's how you're describing it from a viewpoint. So when you're here, it's very important to understand the laws of duality and then also understand the laws of attachment and detachment. And fuck out of here with the manifestation bullshit. If you're worrying about the laws of the universe, don't worry about manifestation. That shit comes shit comes naturally. Like we are all like manifestors, okay? Like understand these things. There are certain things that we're told on this journey by people that are still under certain spells and curses themselves, and they don't realize it. You'll see it. They'll be stuck in cycles, and like these cycles that they're stuck in keep them from. But again, it's like it's a weird thing. Like it's all in divine order, so it wasn't against will, but it's also just one of those things where it's like it's just I don't know. It's a weird game that goes on in the universe. I'm just gonna leave it like that. For the ones that know, you know, this is something that like if I were to like go in depth and talk about it, would take like a few dedicated videos back to back for it. Um, but the consciousness upgrade isn't something you can avoid. It happens for everyone. You can remain, you can fight it. You know, you can be like, oh, I don't want to have a conscious upgrade, and you can like stay blind, and that's cool. But like then what? Like I mean, like I'm not trying to like be mean or like I'm just it's up. Do what you truly want to do, but the divine is just trying to tell you that like the path that looks better is a mirror of your past situation that you have just left. Different people, same energies, same entities. And if you want to go back and relearn those lessons, you have the free will to do so. And if you don't wish to, you have the free will to move forward. And like, no, don't shoot the messenger, you know. But that's like how the divine wants people to start knowing things. It's like it's up to you, and it's that fear, that strike of fear that you get isn't bad, but it's so true that it hits your soul in that manner of fuck, I have the free will to choose this or not. Yeah, that's what the truth feels like. That fear, that ugh, that's truth. Truth is not a very light-hearted, loving thing. The truth is a gut wrenching feeling. They say gut wrenching for a reason. It's something that will stir your chakras. It ignites you. The truth will literally set you ablaze. The truth will put you through the hardest tests you have ever gone through in your entire life. Breaking down the mainframe of your entire existence that you've known since day one. That's what the truth will do to you. Tenfold it will. And it's just, are you able to withstand that or not? And at the end of the day, it's fine. But it's going to feel a lot more weirder seeing how the world evolves this next year. 2025 is gonna be fucking crazy. You understand? This first 6 months is the startup. It just turned the age of Aquarius. We're getting the startup. We're in the startup energy. The car is just now getting warmed up. By the time December 12th rolls around of this year, shit, that car is gonna be moving. By the time like around February 22nd, or like around that time of February is when we're really gonna be in this new energy. Like it takes a minute to set up. It's not a personal energy. It's a fucking universal energy. It's not even. It's a cosmical energy that we're messing with. You know, it's not just the messing with us. It's messing with cosmic law and order and a whole thing. It's, we have a spiritual court. You forgetting about cosmic court. This whole fucking board game that's ran that everyone has to like. Now they got to go through cosmic court and get all them laws set up for us, making sure like, okay, so now these planets are going to be affected differently. Take a check at it. Look, astrology has changed over the years for a reason, and it's not part of it's because meddling around, but the other half is because every time that 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 the zodiac changes, the age that changes, everything changes with that age. Everything half changes. We know now from the age of Pisces we can do whatever the fuck we want. And now in the age of Aquarius we can do whatever the fuck we want, but there's consequences to it. So be honest with yourself and know the truth before you go out and do some shit. Understanding the laws that come with that responsibility is what we're learning. You understand, you see? And it takes the collective conscious, however long the year shifts are, like, what is it? I forgot how long each age lasts. Someone will know, but that's why it takes the conscious that long to change, to understand that law in a way, whether it's consciously aware or unconsciously aware. That's what it means by no one's left behind. Is that it's always going to be ingrained, but will the person ever wake to that issue being prevalent? Will they wake to that being even an issue? Up to them. They got it in eternity. We got it in eternity. All right. So let's get a few steps ahead. Let's take a few steps ahead. Because now in the age of knowing, now that we're finding all these things out, it's more of like going back over what we learned, seeing what's wrong, knowing what's right, and then moving on from there. And it really is about the gods and goddesses waking up. I don't know. It's just like, it is such a time to be alive. And because I'm feeling your energy up in here. There's a few highly ranked, and I mean like, I'm honored to even have the energy up in here. That are watching this, and I feel and I know and I appreciate the work that y'all been doing. We're talking about the high level mystics, the ones that like Rashad and them, like those, like the ones that really like start talking about the in depths of spirituality and like what's really going on, and all these like they like the shit that they feed us. We have spirituality about what it is, and then we have the spirituality that they feed us, and then there's like differences, and then like the spirituality that exists is called demonic, but like, and then like it's just all these like, I don't know, it's like this really need to like wake up. There's like a lot of high observant, very very observant energy up in here, and I'm really like, I'm glad to see that we're gravitating towards it on this channel. For sure. Because I really just like, oh my god, it's just something about my soul. I just want people to wake up and to stop, and it's like the way like, and I'm not even trying to like, I'm not even trying to talk shit about no one. Y'all know how this is, but like, it's really like the way that people get in the tarot is so fucking toxic. Like, everyone's worried about everyone else's issues, and everyone's worried about like what their ex is doing. And it's like, baby, you're not spiritual, you're a stalker. Get off of their ass. And you're wondering why they're watching you. I'm not watching them. I just want to know what they're doing in my energy. Watching you, wanting to know what the fuck you're doing in their energy. Get out of their energy. If you don't want them to watch you, don't watch them. You gotta be the bigger person. Don't be throwing these tantrums. Come on, pull up. Like, come on, live your life. Speak up. Get with it. But stop watching these karmic ass readers. You don't want these energies around you, but you're sitting down watching the same reader talk about the same shit 24/7, and it's not even like enlightening your soul. It's just making you like laugh at someone's demise, or making you mad that someone wants to like get back together with you or making you mad that someone's calling you ugly online. Like, come on. Child, these are the mini games that they throw at us to keep us from getting on our path. I hate to say it, but a lot of tarot readers don't understand. They're playing the devil's game just as much. Like, yeah, give people the information, of course, for sure. But if you're gonna get into tarot, don't jump into it and then jump into like, oh, I'm gonna read about the karmic war, baby. We got people reading about the karmic war. Unless the divine puts on you some new information that can only be spread, I wouldn't be stepping really a foot in it. Because it's something about like we really need to clean this shit up, bro. Because there's nothing wrong with doing it, but we have to remember what we put our energy into is what we're gonna get out in life. So like, if we're really gonna be around watching like readers talk about karmic situations and then like wondering why that energy stays around, it's like because you keep inviting it back in. You gotta learn how to forgive these energies and really like all of them. You wanted to like I mean I'll even make a whole video about it and talk about it too, like cord cuttings and doing spell work to remove people out of your energy. They only work if you change your mindset about them. What you're doing with these spells that clear out that energy is you're clearing out the negative connotation, the doing ill will, these these lower vibrations that you're wanting to get away from them. You have to replace them with something. You cannot just destroy energy. It's impossible. We're here to transmute. So literally when you do these spells, it doesn't just poof them away. You gotta fill that void or it will come straight back. You have to put in that void love and light. You gotta put in that block forgiveness. So when that shit comes back, it just hits it and goes like it just melts in it. You gotta have these energies of really forgiving and like you gotta fight back by really forgiving yourself first. The war is tough and you will grow like sour and you will really forget what it's like to have like pure love. And some of you really are in this energy of like needing to back away from this war because you are you need a break. Like you're so rough, you're hard on yourself, you can't heal properly because of it. There is a need to really just release everything. Like just lay down, tell it to like give it up to the divine, give it up to your guardian, to your ancestors, and just and really just rest it off. Because there's something like some of you are pushing your limits with how much you're fighting. I'm really seeing that, and it's because you don't want to give up. It's because you're very passionate about it. I'm seeing that, but there is this passion's deceiving you. This passion that you're wanting two things at once. You're wanting to move towards this better energy, and you're also wanting to stay back and stay in this old energy and keep fighting this fight. And the divine wants you to have a higher position. And like the best way to even talk about that, about having higher positions, you'll see it on platforms. Different platforms have different like vibrational beings, or vibrational reflections, however you want to look at it. On the screen, you'll see some vibrate higher than others. You'll see some speak more truth than others. You'll see some speak more boldly than others. You'll just see all these separate connections. And that's what the divine really needs you to focus on, is like who's around you energetically. And it doesn't matter if you're seeing people, it's who are you around? What readers are you watching? What are they talking about? I really have like I've always like preached this. I've always preached like just taking a break from tarot if you need to as well. Like just don't watch tarot. There comes a point on your journey. I even got the bluntest sign. There is this video that someone uploaded one day, and it says, "You know exactly what you're doing, but you keep watching tarot readings," was like the title of it. And it popped up on my feed so many times. And whenever I used to get into like really big binges to find out about something, about like myself and find out about like, okay, what do I need to work on? What do I need to do? Even doing it for the messages for like how do I need to improve it myself? What do I need to do something? How do I need to do this? How do I need to do that? It it popped up and was like, you're good. So just take, even if it's like positive for you, taking a break from tarot. Um because an understanding needs to happen as well with this. And the understanding is that everything needs a step. And for something to be made aware to you, you must be first coded in it. So you might not have noticed some readers that you were following were like toxic, and you might have thought other readers were, or you thought some content creators were, you know, how put whatever title you want to put in the mix, okay? But you thought something was higher vibration than something else because one thing resonated, I'll even quotation on that one, with you more than the other. And that was because of a spiritual ego. You formed a parabolic relationship, I believe that's what it's called, with the entity on the screen, which allowed your ego to be like, no, I'm gonna stick with them because like this and this and that. I'm gonna keep supporting them despite what they upload because they help me. And it's just this energy of like, I need to keep giving to them. I need to keep giving to them. And you don't need to give to anyone. You need to give to yourself. If anything, come on now, give yourself more. That's the whole thing. Yes, someone saved your life. Yes, they most definitely did. And it's not like you're not supporting them, but it's one of those things where you need to realize that people pop up in your life, even us healers and shamans and educators. We um we all really like we all just have a time for ourselves. And there are people that I don't watch anymore, but I'm still subscribed to them. I'm not gonna unsubscribe. Like, bitch, listen. Like, I mean, and like, that all comes down to how serious you're gonna be about your journey, and it's a lot about breaking down your ego and really being about it. But like, it's rough. Let me tell you, as someone who's doing it right with you every day, breaking bits of my ego away just for an older part of it to come back and to wrap me around in something. I get that. It's not fun. It's not easy. Um, but it's something that we have to learn how to work through, and something that we have to really push and focus on because like I don't know. And it's not a race. It's not a race at all. This is just me planting a seed. And these seeds that not only I plant, but other people plant are going to grow trees, are going to grow education, are going to fund and nurture so many generations to come. Um, it's just how the power of words work. It's just how the divine has it planned out. And needing to really tap in, just really like there's like a crying energy, like know me. Some of you could be getting called to know the Oshuns. It's like some of you have been wanting like a higher spiritual ranking, and you have these deities like knocking at your door and wanting to come in, but you're afraid to open the door. And it's either because of like a preconception of them being bad, which you really got to get rid of. They want us separate. They don't want us to remember that. Like, listen, Osiris is in the underworld. Did Osiris do anything wrong? No, he got cut up. He got killed by his fucking brother 2 times in a row. And yet he rules the underworld. So, like, you can't be calling Osiris a bad dude. What the fuck Osiris do? Right? You got Isis. What Isis do? Isis didn't let her own son get revenge. Let's keep it real here. These deities, they have roles, and it's not based off of how they were when they were living. It's based off of the abilities, the attributes that they have. Not every healer you're gonna meet are gonna work with angels and divine. Some fucking healers are gonna work with the grimiest little entities swimming around out in this joint. It's just how it is, you know? And there's like this whole separation of, oh, that's good and this is bad and this is white and that's black. Who gives a fuck? Like, we're connected. Don't accept that separation. Don't agree to it. Don't subscribe to it. There is no difference. There's none. And when you come to this understanding, it loses that power. That power, that fear is the power. Like, oh, I'm scared of this entity because it's bad. Who said it was bad? Like, I bet if you had a one-on-one conversation with the entity, you would find out that they weren't bad. Like, not even trying to pull that card. Even, like, let me tell you, some entities are not very pretty to look at. But you know what I mean. Like, your experience with that entity is because someone sent it towards you with that intent. That's your entire relationship with the entity, is someone else's intention for it being near you. It being a neutral force that was sent to you is how it is. Why do you think some people use lower vibrational entities to bring in prosperity, and some people use higher vibrational entities to bring destruction upon fools? Because it's the same thing. It's the same game. Y'all just want to spread them up. Y'all want to keep them separate. Y'all want to say this is good and that's bad and I'm right and you're wrong. Like, no, everyone's wrong. Sit down. You're calling upon the same energy they are. You're just using a different name that makes you feel better about it. It's all ego at the end of the day. It's like, but again, it's not even like a mean thing or like a bad thing either. We have to learn these things because we really like the path of spirituality. Dude, it's so bizarre. They got it fucked up. No, seriously, exactly, Jennifer. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. You are either like doing the light work or you're doing the dark magic. And the dark magic is thinking doom and gloom, is putting that low frequency out there. And light magic is putting that high vibration, that high frequency out there. Does that mean you're a good or bad person? Hell no. That doesn't mean anything. That just means what you're doing. That's just explaining how things are. There's nothing good or bad doing it. If your intention's not doing it purposeful, then there's not an issue. These are things that we're not taught. These are things that we don't even fucking realize happen day by day. These are things that, like, even like science and physics, because everything at the end of the day goes back to spirituality. You can get so far up within science and then it starts getting spiritual. You astrology, astronomy, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you take that shit up to the highest degree, it starts getting spiritual. Everything's spiritual. So don't worry about like the energy leakage, if you want to call it that you might have or whatever. Like, there's not a need to worry about that. You're not here to bandage those up slowly. We're here to learn about these things. These are secrets that our ancients, that our ancestors would tell and talk about. The reason we'd sit outside at night and light a fire and look under the stars and be in nature for those serene moments was to embody this energy that can be replicated, but is being mostly seen replicated via this way. Um, there's no more. The fire is no longer a a physical seen thing. It's now the feeling that is invoked within you, the candlestick, the candle holder, the whatever you want to call yourself. Um, you know, the vessel for the flame. Um, but that's the new flame, is feeling that connection, and it's just really understanding these things and like tying certain knots and like enjoying the time while it flies by, because there is just this energy of like you've been doing all this work, and now that you've done this work, it's opened up new avenues for research. It's like you is this path of destiny that you're on is a very unique one. Whoever I'm picking up on, it's very unique. um some of you may have had like a lot, and I mean like a lot of cult experience as a child, and I'm talking about like witnessing people get possessed and then like heavy shit, you know what I mean? And you guys are about to get like crazy shit. It's given like just like gifts are gonna be upgraded. Saturn has been, it is something about Saturn's retrograde. There's something about Saturn being pleased with a lot of like collective, and there is gonna be like a good like karma overall. But that's also gonna come at the cost of like, you know, solar flares and energetic shifts and all sorts of shit. But there is a green light for this consciousness like upgrade, and like some people might not want. I don't know. It's just this energy of this weird defense mechanism. Huge quotations for that, where you say no to something immediately before hearing the full statement. I'm picking that up. I used to do that too. Listen, I used to be awful for that one. Let me tell you, when you get rid of that, oh shit gets so much better, because you immediately think something's bad, and then you like you the divine does weird shit. It's just one of those things. um I don't know, there's something just so, I don't know, you're finding it's like I just a whole new beauty of the life, but it's something about your innocence. It's something about you being able to know these deeper things, this deeper knowledge, because of your innocence. You're not trying to get this knowledge to rule over someone, and you're not trying to get this knowledge for some sort of like, oh look at me stature. You're just wanting to know what the fuck's going on, you know. And is this could be with regarding anything, and you're getting the information that you're needing to get, but make sure that you're paying attention to yourself when you get this information. How do you feel when this good information comes apart? How are you reacting? Where is your energy going towards? Is your energy going towards someone in a negative context of being like, oh, I told that bitch, or oh, I always knew that was gonna happen to them, and using a negative assumption that you had on someone against them? Or are you more happy of your justice being served and you being on the right path? You see what I mean? Look at where your energy is going. Really check yourself. These are things that you might not feel comfortable doing, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm not comfortable doing it because I know where my energy is kind of swaying, and don't let that make you feel guilty. Just really like look at yourself. Just understand it's all about learning. It's all about really grasping and knowing, and just like seeing where you're at, being okay with where you're at, knowing that you're there for a reason, but also doing that is a sign to the divine, showing them, hey, I'm ready. I see what I'm doing here. I'm ready to move on. I need some help moving on. Or it's just a sign to the divine saying, yeah, I know I'm doing these things. Give me a second more. Let me do this for a little bit longer. I feel like I need to do it. It's just like the divine checking up on you. Um, because a lot of us are really here doing a strong mission. And like, listen, when you realize that there are reincarnation of gods and deities walking around this fucking planet, and they are doing things on this realm that people wouldn't even expect. We got people holding, random people like people you would call average day Joes and shit, holding celestial objects in their houses and shit. Like, you got people with fucking alien architect in their room and they don't even know about it yet because they're not even awakened to the stone that they have yet. You know what I mean? It's it's just kind of funny. So it's like that's kind of like the awakening is what I'm really getting. It's just like a really it's like damn. So I don't know, and it's just like I've noticed this, and I've always talked to people about this, and people call me crazy for noticing it, which I always find funny. But I noticed that people love to acknowledge things. And I mentioned it before a little bit, but they acknowledge things and throw it away. It's like, yeah, I know I've been lied to about everything, and then they go back to believing some things that they were lied to about. But it's because they've grown comfortable with those lies, and it's like, damn, like now you got to break out of that cycle too. But it's not even like a bad thing. But when you say I know that I've been lied to about everything, don't just say that. Think about what you're saying. We know that we've been lied to about like a lot and how shit's been changed up and everything, right? Really let that sink in. And not in like a scary, oh my god type of way, but just understand that like the information you're seeking is out there. Once you awaken yourself to it, and especially if you're wanting to even get this deep in the information, I know we got a few mystics out there, but I'm definitely like, I'm wanting to talk about these things more, man, because like more people need to know about this shit that like, and it is one of those things where like you can follow pages on like Instagram and Facebook and whatnot, and they'll post a photo that really resonates with you, right? And you just can't fucking find where it comes from, but you have all these screenshots from like a book that you really want, and it's like, well, I don't know where to fucking get this book. I find shit all the time. I have so many like esoterical like texts and shit, dude. I just be finding shit. It's like I don't even be meaning to. I don't even read half the shit I find. I just find it. It's like what I do in my spare time is just find like esoteric books and shit and scripts and whatnot just to like buy and look at. I don't really do much like reading. I have like all sorts of shit. And it's just like I need to go through some of the things because there's just a lot, man. There's so much going on. But whenever we start this off, we're gonna talk about the archons because I'm tired. I am tired of archons. That's all I'm gonna say. And y'all that know about archons, you all know why I'm tired of them. It's probably for the exact same reason you're tired of them. Um, but again, just like speaking, I want to tell the truth. I'm tired, dude. Like it's something within me. It's like it's pissing me off, but in like one of those ways where it's not actually making me mad. I just don't know how to describe it. It's getting me rambunctious because damn. It's like I'm just tired of playing this weird game. This spiritual communities in this weird game, and I think a lot of people are catching on to it now, where everyone's like talking about what Samantha did, and we're all talking about like the past spells that were done on us, and it's like, yeah, those things were done, and we broke those spells, and now it's time for us to move on. It's like I don't know, man. These cycles that people are in, where they like they'll get into spirituality and then they'll doom scroll on spiritual things, and they'll think that they're always under attack, and but they're not getting that when you get those readings. It's like yeah, you're under attack, but you're also protected from the divine. It's like getting in the habit of using tarot as more of like a doctor's checkup rather than who's in my energy type shit is what we need to really start pushing back to, especially if we want to start seeing some like actual improvement. Like we can talk all day long about these cult stone spells that people. We get that. Us on this journey that's been there for a minute, we get that. We can't be spending all day looking at that thing, at those things. That sends our energy to a lower vibration. And though we can be there to help those in that energy, we personally do not need to be intaking it. Um, you'll even notice like the higher you get on your spiritual journey, you don't even mess with tarot. I get messages from a lot of people where like I can't even talk. Excuse me. I got messages from a few people. They're like, I don't even watch tarot videos, but I was just like led to you, and I was like, at one point, it's like, okay, cool, thanks. Tarot is the thing that the divine will send you to when the divine needs you to get there. We, as a collective, need to understand that we have grown addicted to tarot, and that's not a bad thing because we're going back to our roots. It's beautiful. This energy is good, but we have become almost addicted. And it's like a crutch almost. For almost some of us are afraid to make the next move without doing tarot. And we're not talking about like a ritualistic thing where every day you pull a card. We're talking about the parts of the community, of the I don't even want to say community, the part of the collective. That's so much better. Excuse me. That rubbed off real bad for me. Part of the collective that like they're starting off new. They're just now waking up. Like we need to start strengthening up ourselves so that we know how to and lay better foundations for them and for people who are not behind us but not as far in the journey as others. The whole point of us being a collective is remembering that we're one and placing the seeds, the footsteps, the staircases that we all need, and some are bigger than and some are smaller. So again, like I'm just hearing, like if you have been feeling the need to get into your calling and getting into reading, no matter what you're reading on, don't worry about what you're reading about. The divine will send you the messages that you need to read about. You don't worry about what readings you do. Me personally, I don't do readings unless I feel called to, and I talk with my guys. And I'm like, at least give me one a day, and if I'm on a break, I don't get any downloads, you know. Um, yeah, cards are fine. Listen, it's our right to connect with the divine in any way, shape, or form. We use whatever we want. We don't need to use cards. We can use chicken bone. We can use dice. Shit, homie, I could use these Q-tips. I could, I could literally film this hotel room and give you an intuitive reading based off of objects of why they're placed certain ways. Everything happens for a reason on this realm. Everything has a purpose. The reason why that color is that color and the reason why you perceive it to be that color, there's a reason behind it, and it's not the reason why you would want to believe, but it's that way because you're programmed into believing that. Um and that's the whole thing, is you break these programs of forgetting these labels of like needing to do certain things for certain energies. We need to just really get back and understand that everything's energy, and instead of just understanding that and jumping around and being happy with it, really understanding it to a point to being like, no, everything is energy. So why am I giving this neutral energy, this idea that's been presented to me, why am I giving that so much negative energy? If I could just give that positive energy, and if I could just train myself being the transmuter that sends and receives energy, if I can just find a way to send positive out while I'm also sending negative, that will help my overall like understanding of myself and how I output, and I'll stop outputting negative energy on smaller things. And once you start putting them on smaller things, so larger things become easier. It's all these things. We sign up. We agree to forget. And the reason why we forget, the reason we agree to forget, and I'm getting this right now, is because when we understand how energy is, and when we forget these things, when we relearn them, that rush of energy that we get, it's something about that rush of energy that excels the process of the collective consciousness, that excels the collective vibration. It's something about that frequency that's outputted when that happens. So the reason we even forget everything when we come down here isn't also just to learn, but it's also so when we do collect these like golden nuggets of past memories, of past abilities, of just past knowledge. When we get these things, it enlightens us. It also enlightens everything else around us. It's like it's one of those reactions. But this is definitely like just coming back to your roots, seeing cycles. I didn't used to do this all the time, and now I'm doing this all the time. Or I didn't used to focus on this, but now I'm focusing on these things. Noticing these cycles, being honest with yourself at this time is very important. Um, being easy on yourself, letting yourself feel the way you're supposed to feel. If you have to cry, cry. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, I'm too strong. You are not too strong to cry. Don't ever, that makes no sense. You're too strong to cry. Why are you fighting yourself then? Why are you bullying yourself? Come on, let that shit out. Quit. You're not getting a medal for not crying. I mean, I'm not trying to make you feel bad either. If you cannot cry, you cannot cry. But if you're purposely stopping yourself from crying, don't let that shit go. Feel your emotions. And again, I'm not trying to like step on no toes. I understand that came off a little rude. That was definitely an Aquarius moment right there. I cannot lie. That was funny. But don't make yourself feel a certain way based off of how you want to think. Allow yourself to really feel your emotions and let them run through you. If you have to cry, cry. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care if you bench press. I don't care if you have a pet goldfish. I don't care if your name is Ronaldo. I don't care. If you got to cry, you gotta cry. Okay? Just let that shit out. Even if it's for a millisecond. Oh, you had a millisecond cry? That probably released some sort of pent up energy that you had inside of you that you didn't even know. Maybe you just randomly burst out laughing. Let that shit go. You release the energy, you know? We bottle shit in. You know what's funny? They knew this. They knew this. They told us to bottle shit in. We bottle things in. We train our body to hold things in. We don't breathe as much as we used to. We're training our body to, oh, we hold in our emotions, so if we hold in our breath, that's good too. No, we need to breathe. So breathe. Like, don't bottle up your emotions. You wouldn't do that with anything else. You know? We know what happens when you bottle up atoms and shit. We know what happens when they get all shook up. We know all these things, but yet we do these to emotions because we title them as emotions rather than energy. We title energy everything other than energy, and then it's like, oh, these are just my emotions. No, that's your energy. Energy doesn't exist. What the fuck do you mean energy doesn't exist? Who the fuck are you paying your money to for your electrical bill? The fuck you mean energy doesn't exist? The fuck do you think the sun's doing? What do you think the water's doing? What do you think how do you think you get up this how do you think you get up? How the fuck do you think you got up this morning? Is it because a man in the sky told you it was your time to get up? No. That shit was preordained before you even got down here. That shit was written on a piece of paper that mom and dad are looking at. And they know, you know, some people know how to read your death date if you're interested in that. I don't. I'm staying away from that shit. That's just not cool. That stuff's like, it's real though. It do work. It's just I don't like it. But like, really realize these things. Like, really get in tune with these things. Like, and it might even be like getting used to these thought processes and getting used to these new things coming in. Have a little bit more fun with them. Like, come on. I've never liked being serious. I hate being serious. Listen, I say that, but I come off as I come off like serious. I just have resting bitch face. I can't do much. I just look serious, but I'm like goofy as hell. I'm just like sleepy all the time. You know what I mean? So when you're going through these tests and trials, have fun with them. And spirituality is all about these rebirths aren't to like make you exhausted. They're to free you so you can have fun. And I've noticed through my journey at least, a lot of my awakenings have been exhausting, but this recent one I've gone through has been very, very like, it's been mind-boggling. I've been falling asleep a lot too during the day, but I have also been probably the happiest and the most nonchalant I've been in a while. For once, I can really say I had a whole week living in the present moment, and that changed a lot. Um, like I didn't think about the past but a few times, and that was like during meditation. Um, it is a blessing to even be able to stay in the present. Like doing that for a while, like there was a whole day where my mind didn't leave the present moment, and it was one of those feelings that like it got me fucked up because I realized how fucked up we are. Like you don't even like unless you've really had a day like that, you don't understand how fucked up they got us. Dude, they got us fucked up bad. Like it's wild, dude. I'm telling you. But it's something we're striving towards to fix. And we're gonna fix it. Because that's what we do, baby. But yeah, that's what we do. We have fun over here. And it's like even now I'm still kinda like drained. I've just been hyper. And I'm like I get exhausted really easily. We're elevating, exploring, we're doing all sorts of shit. I got all sorts of fun little gizmos and gadgets going on in the astrals and shit. Regardless, we'll talk about that stuff later. Um, but I really want to start talking about you and your ancestors, like, cause like as well, like I don't know, this is gonna be a long ass video because I'm just gonna be talking about a lot of shit. I have so much I need to get out, but I really am. I'm switching up how this channel is gonna be again. Um, because I'm gonna have a lot more informative stuff on here. I wanna give information. Cause it's like, cause here's the thing. We're seekers, so we like to seek and we like to go find our information, right? We can do that. Some people genuinely cannot find this shit. Some people cannot find the knowledge that they're seeking to find. And it's not because the divine doesn't want them to. It's because like they can't get it. Like they're not looking it up the right way. They're not getting like doing it the way the divine wants them to. And it's one of those things where like we're in the age of knowing. If you're really scared of someone doing something to you, I gotta keep it a bean to you. It's already been done to you before. Um, I mean, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. When they say no one can do anything to you that hasn't already happened, they mean that. You think you just reincarnated once? A lot of you in this chat and a lot of you who's seeing this video, especially if you made it this far, let me be honest with you. If you stuck around this long, this message is definitely for you. This is the longest time I've yapped for a while. But if like you've been attacked by everything, you've gone through that. Cause, I don't know, because what they don't tell you about your past life is like your greatest fear this life is how you died last lifetime. That's your instinctual like fear. That's your fight back. Oh, I'm deathly afraid of that. You're deathly afraid of it because you died do it. You passed away because of that thing. You're scared of doing like that tells you so much. It's all the information is there in front of you. Um, it's one of those things. It's very beautiful how life is like made, and especially for the ones that aren't like living here on earth but the ones that like are here to help, you know, those around grow and evolve and heal. um it's like I don't know. These are things, especially if you have all this knowledge, like really start talking about it. Like even if you don't think you know a lot, it's just getting what you know out there. Um, because there are a lot of there's the new wave coming up. You know what I mean? The cycle's over. The bridges are opening. The cycles are like the grand cycle is getting ready to reset. We're about to hit autumn. The wheel is about to take its fall, whatever. And there's a lot of people coming up in the scene again, and this is an endless cycle. But for those who are new, I want to explain this because why not? But the new I don't want to say I'm gonna say like no I don't care. The new wave of people that come in and accept the calling are going through their game where they're posting, and that that involves false prophets and people doing it for money and doing it for like non-spiritualistic reasons, and then you have those doing it for spiritual reasons, and it's just that it's going on, it's happening. You're probably even seeing just a lot more new people on the scene. Nothing bad, I'm just saying how it is, like informing people on these loops, because these loops happen indefinitely and they happen every 6 months. The times at 3, 6, and 9, you usually hear 3 weeks is 6 months, 6 to 9 months. You know what I mean? But regardless, everything follows things like certain patterns. Um, there are some things on this realm that can't be changed because it's just hardwired into it, and when you become aware of the I like calling them glitches because it is kind of funny calling them glitches once you realize it. But once you realize these glitches and you start seeing them, things make more sense. Like I noticed it before I jumped fully into being like spiritual on my path. I noticed that a lot of the same jokes. No, this one's a funny one to pay attention to. The same jokes. Pay attention to the jokes you're seeing at this time, and then next year around this time, look at the jokes that are popping up on like your feed and shit. I swear to you, that shit will blow your mind. The fact that it's the same shit. It might be a different art style, but it's the same jokes. Like it's kind of funny, and I noticed that because I was like, we had this same shit last year. My friend was like, no, we didn't. I was like, no, I swear to God, we did. And it was like, no, this is not it. This not going on. How the hell do you not notice this, bro? What? Like how? Wait. Like, see, that's how my awakening was. I realized what the fuck was going on. Like, no, you're crazy. This fucking me? No, you think I'm crazy? I have the image was saved in my camera roll from a year ago. I was like, nah, this shit's been popping up. This already been here. Why is one everyone acting like it's new? Oh, because it is new. No, it's not. It's a year old. It's probably older than a year. It's coming back for some reason. I don't fucking know why. Some cycles, dude. Then they use nostalgia spells on you. Those are the fun ones. Nostalgia spells. Oh, I just missed this thing so much. Let me put all my energy into it. I don't know. We don't even have a track. We're not even on track. We're just running around picking berries off bushes and talking about whatever flies by. Not exactly. Science is magic. Everything is magic. Everything is based off of a chemical reaction. And all a chemical reaction is to changing of states, and that's what magic is. Magic is alchemy, and alchemy is transition. People, like, I don't know. The alchemy is changing one state to another, you know? From covered to being covered to uncovered is an act of alchemy. That's physical alchemy. You see how they got us though? Some people might think of alchemy and think of like liquids and waters. They wouldn't even think of something like that. But they want you to think of it. Oh, this is what alchemy. This is an alchemist table, so it has to have a bunch of beakers and stuff. No, it doesn't. That's a alchemist table for sure. But is that the only one that exists? Nah. alchemy tables can just simply be regular tables that have just a pentagram in the middle of it. Like people use the, like what really defines an alchemy table? A table that you do alchemy on. Now, what kind of alchemy are you doing? These things need to be broken down, and we break them down in the sense to unify, to make them singular, to try to understand them, rather than separating them and then actually observing them like we're supposed to. Well, not that we're supposed to. Let me change my wording up. But when you when you observe things, you don't take something away from the group to tear it apart. You're there to observe it. That's something that we're taught, and I don't know, these things that we just really forget so much, dude. I really just it's been hitting me so much. We forget so much. There's so much. I don't know, and it really just gets you thinking. And it's just, I don't know. It's just funny because I always think like this, and it never ceases to amaze me, because every time I think about something, even though if I know the answer, I'll still talk about it and think about it as if I know nothing. And I think that's what makes a really good teacher, is being able to get in that mindset, because being able to just, even if you know something, still looking at it as a way of curiosity to relearn about it is really the only way to learn. Learning is an experience, and just because you experience, it's like, you know what? Good example, thank you. It's like this Palo Santo, right? It's like one day I burned a Palo Santo. It's not going to be the same as I burn it tomorrow. Like today it burnt a lot. Obviously, it burnt a lot. And it had a very strong, the smell was very strong. It was very effective today. Tomorrow, it might not be as effective. That's the experience. You experience it differently every time. It's not the same thing. It's a different thing. It's a copy of it. It's not a carbon copy. It's a copy. A copy of the original, the one. There's an original of everything, and it comes from one single source. Everything else is a copy of the one, and then even now we're eating a fucking copy of an artificially created substance. That's what's going on now, if you want to know about that. We're not even eating anything, if we really want to get into it, if we want, nothing's real, but the shit that goes out in the public is not even real. That shit's fake as fuck. That's so man-made. That shit got fucking worms in it. Man, I don't know. Y'all can eat that shit. I don't want to. I'm good. It's one of those things, though, bro. It's just so weird. You gotta, yeah, exactly. You gotta re-experience it. Same particles, different expression. Exactly. You gotta, you have to go back and re-experience it. See, and that's these are the lessons that we're learn, or supposed to be learning. But, and I'll come out and I'll say this too, because I don't like it when people do this, especially being someone that tries. A lot of people will be they'll be, oh, I'm a teacher, but go find it yourself, which is beautiful, perfect. But what if you can't find it? What if you can't find it and you're supposed to know about it? Then you gotta ask. Don't be gatekeeping if you know someone, especially if you feel it, because there's a lot of people awakening. You got the new gen coming up, you got older gens waking up, you got everyone in between waking up. Some of these people need to know this shit. Some of these people are meant to be way more knowledgeable than the people that they're coming to learn from. But they gotta go to them to learn it at the level that they can understand it at, because we all teach at different levels, you see. But it's really just this really stepping into your power. It's like, stop being afraid of you, because now you're afraid of you. And you might be afraid of how innocence is. You might be afraid of how almost like how it doesn't seem like, I don't know. It's something about like, oh, I thought it was going to be something bigger than this, or I thought it was going to have more of an impact than this. And again, it's like latching onto this idea, but it's teaching you the law of detachment. It's some energy about expecting something a little more, though, that has you in this loop of working less, which is something you're trying to, like a boundary you're trying to break from, because you're working less due to you not receiving more. Yeah, with the devil, because you're bound, and with the Four of Pentacles, because it's like an energy of being bound to wanting to have more control over your earnings, or your physical, having more control over the rewards, the earnings from your work that you don't get, or that you're not going to have at this time, as well as I'm hearing. And it's because the way that you're thinking, or the way that you'd use the supply, is not the way that it needs to be used. And at this time of like the grand waking happening, and even for for some of your all's protection, it's being restrained from you. And it's not to say the divine's like intervening on your free will. It's like, if you want it, you need to ask for it. There's something that you intuitively will feel to do, to ask it. And it could just be working with your ancestors more, doing a lot more ancestral work, getting things that really resonate with you, and not letting a fear of uncertainty stop you. Is there anything else, Spirit? No, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely get up on here and talk some more, give more information, give more details, have some like Q&As and stuff. I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot of book stuff. I know a lot of, yeah, but with the Fool, this is definitely like you going into new territory, though. This is your new start. I feel like this is your ignition, or this is your time. This is your chance to do something. Like, this is a spotlight energy. You might have been trying to take some sort of leap too early as well. You might have been like, oh, I have everything I need right now, let me go take this leap. And you couldn't, take the leap. This is really, for someone, I don't know, it's just coming out like this now. For someone, I really feel like you took a leap, or you wanted to take a leap, and then the divine said no, and you did something else with the funds that you had, with the energy that you had, and you don't have enough to go on the same path anymore. It's because that path wasn't for you. And it's definitely about, like, it's like, I can't shake it off. This energy of, you are going to be on this fucking path whether you want to be on it or not. Like, it's time. And if you don't want to, that's okay. But it's gonna be harder to get back to this point. And that's not like a threat. That's not to like scare you into doing it, no. But when the devil comes back around, it comes back 7 times, with seven more entities. And because it'd be a lesson you've already learned, it's something that you're gonna have to repeat. So just be wary. Because the divine wants you to know, this is how it's playing out. This is how it's gonna play out. And it's not to scare you or to make you feel bad or wrong, but like you make the calls at the end of the day. And if you truly want this new beginning, you have to go for it. The divine's already promised you everything under the sun and the moon. Well, under the moon and the sun, I should say, really. And now you just gotta choose. And you already made the decision before coming down here. There's just a need to follow your soul. And that's this next barrier. That's this 8 percentile energy that needs to step up. Those that are truly fully ready to step in with this energy. It's time. And again, it's not saying you're going to be put in a bad cycle either if you refuse this, but it's like just the way the world works, you will be tempted to go back to an old cycle, and it might just be as hidden as the first time. So again, it's not even, I'm not trying to say it's going to happen. I'm just saying be very careful and like don't allow your thoughts to disturb you. And of course, it's not saying like, because this is something that like, it's not like if you don't do it, you're not ever gonna be able to do it. Don't the fuck get that out of here. That's like a devil talking, dude. Oh, if you don't do it now, you'll never have it. Who the fuck's put a restraint on this? No one. The divine said I got an eternity. Who the fuck are you telling me if I don't do this by now? Like, I understand some things have a direct time frame, but not for this. This is like, this is just if you want to like do it at your own pace, but you know how bad you want to do it now. So it's just best to do it now with all this energy, so it's not as hard on you later. You know, because this interruption that comes later could just be an influx of work, or oh, I can't do it now, or something happens. You know what I mean? Like it could just like some sort of small inconvenience that would take up time. Like there's like, if you want to take a leap now, and it's not like you're gonna be ahead of anyone or behind anyone or too late or anything. It's this energy of just getting in the flow of you. Like you are this whole universe, this whole God, this whole body, this whole energy and his whole self, and you're so worried about where the fuck this thing is gonna take you rather than what that thing is. Like what the fuck, you're telling me I got 5 fingers? Like listen, it's not, not as dull as that, but I got 5 hands. I got 5 fingers, right? And each one of these fingers is connected to a certain energy to not only my body but to a celestial planet. You're telling me that. You're telling me these things, and I'm understanding them, and I'm looking at them, and I'm using them, and oh, I'm feeling bad, so I'm gonna press this, or I'm feeling worried, so I'm gonna press this on this finger to alleviate the planet, the problem that planet correlates with, and all these things of that nature. And you're telling me all these things, about myself, but I'm not even taking time to really acknowledge them about myself. I'm just seeing them as, oh, yeah, this is cool. I'm a whole universe. I'm everything, but I'm not actualizing it. I'm understanding it. Sure, I'm standing under it for sure. I'm standing right underneath it, looking up, trying to figure out how to get the fuck inside of it. What you got to do is start overstanding it, understanding it. It's when you understand it, go up inside of it, understand it, look at it from the inside. How am I the universe? How do I connect? Where do my fingertips connect to my body? How do I do all these things? It's called pinching, by the way. Look up pinching if you want to figure out about that. It's like it's a technique that we use for stress relief. It's the same thing for energy harvesting. It's for mudras, or it's everything is connected in that sense. There's a reason why. But really actualizing this information that you're being told and working with it to see just who you are, how much of an infinite ability do I have access to at this time, and what can I do with it, just really experimenting with who you are. This could be through like art forms, or maybe you're wanting to know how to do telekinesis or pyrokinesis or something of that matter. It's just like just doing your research, because it's like it's time to. Damn, all right, damn, that's a heavy word to put on my soul spirit. It's time to eradicate. I'm gonna say, um, the old beliefs of good and bad, and start formulating your own. Stop allowing people's way of talking about something or connecting something make you feel like something's good or bad. Erase, make it neutral. How does it truly make you feel? Don't compare it to any past situation. Actually do that. You can. You can most definitely do it, but actually sit down and do it. No, a demon's not evil. Why is a demon not evil? Because a demon is neutral. A demon is a word that I have put on an energy to define an energy, to manipulate that energy, to put that energy under a spell that I then created of it to make it react and create a source. Understand where you put your power. Shit's crazy. I'm telling you. Does that matter? I mean, does it matter how fast of like a physical appearance comes out? Like, oh, I switched my mindset, but I'm not a bajillionaire. Who gives a fuck? We're not here for materialism. But you want materialism? Go and do some materialistic work then. We're on a spiritual journey doing spiritual work. And yes, even though the spiritual journey comes with the materialistic payoff on the material realm, that doesn't mean it's going to happen like that. You got to earn that shit. You get your spiritual ranking up first, child. We're here for spiritual earnings, not on the we're not getting physical earnings. Okay, understand that. Especially if you this far in this video, if you this far on the journey, because I'm picking up on a lot of energy that's been here for a minute. But if you're gonna be here and you're not gonna understand that we're here on a mission, and that mission is not to obtain money and to have a physically comfortable life, but to have a life that is to serve the purest form, and to save this fucking planet that's also a living being that we're on, to try and connect it back together because it's falling apart, you know. That's mind-boggling that I just got. Okay. Anyway, I just think Spirit just put on me immediately that the Humpty Dumpty riddle is basically the solution to that would be like the Queens of the tarot deck, the emotional. There's no emotional energy, and Humpty Dumpty can really just be seen as key, as Earth, as Gaia, however you want to staple them. Because there's a lot of physical fixings. Oh, we need to fix the potholes of the world. We need to fix the whatever the fucks, the pollution that's been here ever since you put your fucking nasty ass just fucking factories and negative ass energy in this planet. You know what I mean? Like, stop worrying about those things. Start worrying about the bigger picture of, like, needing to really nurture yourself to nurture the world. Like, we work off frequency. It doesn't matter how many trees you plant. Is that going to raise Earth's vibration? Yeah, but, you know, it's going to raise it more actually doing that work for yourself. It's like, I don't know, we're so focused on fixing the physical instead of fixing the spiritual that we're not even seeing the whole point of being spiritual is to fix the spiritual and to give two shits about the physical. We see an issue on the physical. How does that relate spiritual? What's going on in the spiritual that's causing that to happen? Why is this so fucked up? Let's go find out spiritually. Let's find out the reason for why. Why are we here? Because spirit, the divine, God, Mother, Father, we're here because of that. That's the reason that's the reason we're the effect, we're the cause, I mean. And it's, I don't know, just like there's so much I want to talk about. There's just so much I could be on here for like another 3 hours, honestly, and just yap and just like plant seeds all night. But I don't know, man. Like, it's just not even funny Because like when you, because I don't know, I've been on this mysticism journey for a while, and I understand so much, and even I learn every day. You know, like everyone's learning every day, and it's one of those things where I I push under the rug so many things that I know, and it's because I don't deem them to be as important. But what I don't realize is my ignorance towards that matter of being not significant is the reason why that issue in the first place is still um, present and prevalent. There's just so much. I don't know, and it's just like it's very interesting, um, as well, because there is this energy of just like almost being afraid to take this leap because of your thoughts, uh, because you're afraid of that thing happening, and that's not what's gonna happen. That's what you think is what's gonna happen. That's the man-made energy that you have just made in your head. Like you need to allow the divine to really work through and for you more. I don't know. There's just so much. As well as just understand, like taking your signs a bit more serious too. I'm feeling called to talk on that too. Whenever you see something, whenever you see it, right? Whether it's catching your attention or not, the fact that you clicked on this video, the fact that you stayed for this long on this video, the fact that you're like even hearing this or whatever, there's something in it for you. Okay? Listen to your spirit, listen to your intuition. If you decide to have a whole hour long video pulled up and you skim and you like click in the middle of the video and watch like 5 minutes of it and you feel good enough to click off, then that's what the divine needed you to know. So understand signs work like that. A sign is not going to be an entire 2 hour video. A sign could literally be, oh, look, a cardinal outside the window. And the spirit's been trying to send you a cardinal, but where you live, cardinals don't fucking exist. So you have to go watch a video where a cardinal's in it. And then that's your sign that you needed. You know? So pay attention. Pay attention. The divine is always talking. Always. A lot more than you think. A lot more than you know. I'm talking about the reason that like you look at something. Oh, why is this facing this way? Or oh, why is this doorknob this color? And then the thought pops up in your head that has nothing to do with that doorknob and nothing to do with anything that you're thinking about, but yet it reminds you to do something. But yet that thought reminds you of an emotion, or reminds you of a way to respond to a situation, or reminds you of something, right? That seems so like out of pocket and surreal, but it's the divine talking to you. Um, Regardless, I'm gonna end it here. I feel like I've yapped on for a while. I have not talked this long in a minute. But definitely in the future expect longer videos because I definitely am gonna start like talking a lot more, um, getting in deeper videos. Probably not doing a lot of scripting, but definitely having like things like certain points to talk about. Regardless, I'm gonna give another shout out to Otter Spirit. And again, they got the bracelets. They have different ones. I got a black and white dragon agite. I forgot what it's. I got a moonstone one. I got one watermelon, uh, chalcedony, which is like for the heart chakra and love and confidence, and they're really good. Like I enjoy them, so definitely go check them out. I have the link in the description. You can use code subluter20 to get a percentage off if you're wanting to get like some spiritual wear. Um, and also help out the Sea Otters because they donated $1 to the Sea Otter Foundation, which is cute. But if you're wanting to get a reading or information or get a part of our Google group chat or just to email me to say hello, Feel free to hit my email or the Google form in the description, and I'll get you there. Regardless, thank you for the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, energetic and financial. They mean the world to me. I love you all so much. I'm gonna get back into uploading. I've had to digest a lot more than I thought I would have to. By the time I got finished understanding one concept, another one was just thrown right at me. So I was like, okay. So I'm learning at a rapid pace right now. I'm good though. I got the balance that I need to get. Um, so yeah, I'm getting back into business with that. I'm excited to come back and to spread more knowledge and healing and more energy. Um, but yeah, we're gonna continue this train of spreading truth because we need to really step that up and start telling people what they need to know rather than what the ego wants to hear. But regardless, I love you all to the moon and back tenfold and forever. Thank you all so much. And I will see